I'll rant right with you. You and I can rant it because I just went through these same issues where my car was supposed to be done at a certain time and it wasn't done. Right? Okay. Okay. No, that's just me, John. Oh, that's great. Yeah, no, I'm an AI now. I don't know if you know this. I'm not. This is not the real John Jansen. I've turned into a version of Chat PT or whatever. What is it called? What is it? Chat GPT? Do you know what it is, Arcaini? You can use the mic there. He doesn't have the headphones in, but what is it called?
GBT?
GBT. No.
GPT
Okay,
maybe?
GPT. I think there's a P in there. Yeah, right. Dying to get in. That's exaggerated. You you're never dying to. Although there are more Dunkin' Donuts here, so you are missing out again for like the fifth time this week. There's only four games we've already gone through this week, and it's already been in here five times this week. Actually, if you want to pay me a nice coffee, I am fine with that. Wait, traffic on 76? That doesn't happen. Right? Look, traffic on 76?
Let's not talk about traffic right now.
No, I think the tread is just
The
the
tread,
wearing
yeah.
down on the tire. Yeah, that's just the tread, right? I don't know, whatever the inline, yeah, whatever that is. The inbreeding. Oh, zero's not good. Zero's a bad number in that case. Yeah. Let's not
this. We came up with the idea, and oh, where Luke's getting one. Game that's
Oh, you should have heard my show on what was it, Monday night or last night? Yeah, I think the Sixers might be the best remaining starting lineup in the league, not just the Eastern Conference. I mean, especially if they beat Boston, because Boston was a team. We were all talking about Boston like they were the team that was the best in the NBA. But if the Sixers win, I got to start believing that Tyrese Maxey broke through a ceiling that he hasn't broken through before, right? He hasn't beat Boston. He hasn't put up 30 points like he did against Boston all season long. And so he broke through a barrier. That means Tobias Harris had played well. That means James Harden put up 40 and 50 in 2 games and then was
I have the PJ Tucker play for this evening. Yeah. Well, you're going to have to wait. I'm going to tease that. There is a winning play. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine, 10.
A short list of quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.
Jansen, do you hear me?
Yes, I can.
All right.
And the entire listening audience can hear you.
Let's get Luke up here. Come on, Luke.
Change your audio settings. I love how everybody's going to be hearing this. Change your audio settings for your actual microphone.
Me?
Yeah, because it doesn't sound like it's coming from your microphone.
Good call.
Yes, I do. And Luke, I'm going to have you swing around over here so Brace can hear you better. And you'll plop your laptop here and you'll hang out here. You'll push my mic. He'll hear you. And then I'll actually text you.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Luke.
Yeah, how long is that? You know what I might do? You might just use my headphones. Hello, everyone.
Yo.
Hello, Twitter world. And YouTube and Facebook. You can plug
My damn car. Are you kidding me? This is the nonsense we got to jump through to freaking.
This is what you get for what, your flat tire or whatever. Nobody heard the story, by the way. If you want to tell our watching audience your story of why you're not in the studio, you can do that. And I'll use it if you don't mind. No. These are the old ones I used to have. What I will do, actually, hold on one second. Back there. Back there. What a setup. What a setup. This is my crazy producer mind working in whatever we're just ridiculous ways. Yeah. Dude, that
There's a photo.
Oh, he sent me that picture. I was dying. I was dying while I was driving.
Oh man, that's so good.
Yeah, you can flip that over there. So this is just going to be Sean will hear you a lot better.
Talk to me, Luke.
Yo.
Yeah, a little bit better. Can we not get a picture of him? Can we not get video?
Luke's got to connect. Here, let me. I'll send you because it's like a bunch of different weird things. And
Just
I don't
add a
want
spot
anybody to
in.
know.
If you have to, don't rush this. Let's come back and let's do it right.
No. We can take another quick break. Those are always fun. All right. Yeah, we got a minute 35. Right. Oh, you're sounding. Oh, look at that. Hey.
I'll tell you what, it sounded great on the stream.
It sounded great. Yeah, what we were doing, but is that a little better? So he's gonna hear you through my microphone.
That's fine, but why can't he come up through StreamYard and I could just listen to him through StreamYard?
Because it's gonna sound terrible.
All right, well, just give me the visual of Luke. That's what the ladies want, man. The ladies want Luke on the screen.
Actually, you know, yeah, Luke is probably gonna have to use his own audio.
There you go.
Hey, what's up? This is Fallout Boy.
What's up?
What's up, Fallout Boy?
It's iHeartRadio.
Yeah, we might have to do it through Luke's laptop. Does your laptop even have one? Yo,
Talk to me.
that's Buster. Say hello. Say hello to the.
Where's this loser?
Yeah.
Say hello to the Twitter audience.
Yeah.
Because we have a convoluted set because Sean has no car.
You have no car?
Look at that bad boy.
Dude, what'd you do to her?
Ran over a screw dog.
You know, one
then
time my buddy, he was trying to hook it up with like a three-way. Can you say three-way on your guys' thing?
Yeah.
All right, well, we just did. So my buddy was trying to run that, right, with his girl and their coworker. And all of a sudden, his girl, like, got all pissed off and just left. She was like, I'm out. And left him and the coworker. So, of course, him and the coworker, whatever, he came out to his tires gone with a note on his car that said, how was she?
Yeah.
So, Sean, how was she?
That's so wrong by her. She signs the contract and then all of a sudden takes it out on him. That's because she got
That's
cold
true.
feet?
That's true. She signed up for the deal. It's not his fault. He followed through with it.
Wait until that deal goes down. Yeah, exactly.
All
Buster,
right.
how you feeling tonight?
Bro, I'm excited. How are you feeling?
Nervous as shit.
I'm nervous
Yeah, I'm
too.
very nervous.
I'm so nervous.
Sixers in a clinching scenario? Yeah. That's great. Yeah, that's easy. That's easy. What do you mean?
Yeah, wait a minute. I've seen this movie before, but it's good to know that you're nervous. Because if you were confident, I knew we were screwed.
Oh, what happened last time I said I was confident? We just went up there and rolled them.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Never mind. All right. Well, damn. Well, I'm nervous.
Wait until that deal comes down.
I'm never not nervous.
By the way, if you guys hear music over here, it's because we're having a Jonas Brothers party.
What?
No big deal.
I want to
Are
be
they
invite.
here? Are they there?
No, we're just previewing the new album.
Yeah, well, they showed up at iHeart in New York. What's up?
I know. And I told him, I was like, hey, next time they do that, let us know because we'll go the day before so I don't have to tell a bunch of listeners why the Jonas Brothers aren't here. Instead, we have a video of them with a gun to their head saying, hey, we're the Jonas Brothers. Thank you for listening to our album. We'll see you on tour, Philly. Later.
All right. Yes, it was just the iHeart guest. You can.
Get Luke on camera, damn it.
No, you can get out of that. You're already connected. And then yeah, you'll have to use your. How's everyone doing? How we doing?
1, 2, 3,
Unquote.
4.
5, 6, 7, 8. Still not working? It says you're connected, right? Wait, why is it back to RHBDS? What is that? Why does it keep going back to that? Which one's supposed to be iHeart, yes. Jeez. You definitely missed that. You 100% missed that shot.
That was ugly.
Boom. Yeah, that was weird. It keeps going back to that other one you have connected. No, you don't need it. You just got to go into the your email and click the link. Missed it again.
Short on both. My shoulders hurt me, man. I'm in trouble. I might have to get surgery.
Surgery?
Yeah.
Jesus. I might just put you back on the other side then. It's going to have you through the mic, but you're going to go through your audio. This audio? Yeah, your laptop audio. Yep. And then this mic is the one going to be going over the air. Let's switch headphones again. Ooh, a little Chevy. Nice. I got Chevy too. You're plugging into these small ones. All right. And then once you get in there, I will put you on the StreamYard. We'll test it all out.
Wait until that deal goes down. There he is. Luke.
Yeah.
Yep. That's what I was just afraid of.
What?
Yeah. Hold on. Let me put one more promo in. Yeah, this is just going to be a pain. Hello, everyone.
I'm trying to get rid of that overlay on the bottom here, Luke. Hang on. Wait until that deal goes down.
I can just kind of sit like that. That's fine.
Yeah, Brace will be able to hear you anyway.
I'm gonna come to
Yeah, you can mute that. We'll just use my mic and
Nice.
Brace.
Yeah.
Just turn your ears up.
Yep.
Actually,
Talk.
pay attention.
Talk, Luke.
Yo.
All right, I can hear you.
All right, sweet.
And if you can hear him, that means StreamYard can hear him. Hello, StreamYard. And Twitter and YouTube and Fox Sports The Gambler at Fox BHL Gambler, Fox Sports The Gambler YouTube channel, Fox Sports The Gambler on Facebook.
Jerrold's calling in at 3:35.
All right, we're about to go on now.
Am I going to hear Jerrold through StreamYard?
Probably not.
This might be a game six show with YouTube coming up at 4:00.
Yeah,
Sean,
I think it
Sean,
might.
Sean Bernard's recorded at 5:30. Oh my
All right,
God!
we're about to go live on the air, not on.
All right,
Twitter,
do
but on
it.
the air.
Let's go.
Here we go.
Do you guys have ESPN on in the studio?
Yeah.
You have to see Jack Harlow.
I have ESPN2 on. Let me know when you want me to put you up, by the way.
Oh, put me up.
Okay. Here we go. Go.
You know, they continue to remake these movies from my, childhood, my youth.
By the way, that's how you know you're old.
Well, there's many reasons why I know I'm old, but
like the shoulder issue you have right now.
Yeah, man, I'm falling apart. I'm falling apart. Did I tell you the story about my wife when I said my wife, I said it was my birthday, and I said, yeah, I'm 42, but I feel like I'm 24. And she said, yeah, right. No, you don't. And I'm like, yeah, you got me there. So,
Spoke too soon.
Hello, everybody.
It also took you about 2 weeks to recover from your birthday festivities. Are you even recovered from that yet?
No, I'm still drying out.
Permanently damaged from that,
dude. I did such damage to my body. Look, I got like a cold sore, man. I'm still hurting from that. Like I'm telling you, 2 weeks ago, I'm still dealing with everything that came from that vacation. Don't let your mind go to other places as far as the cold sore is concerned. All right. No, I meant it from the alcohol
Okay,
and
sure.
everything.
Okay, no, yeah. We got it. No, we got it. We got it.
Hello, everybody. It's the Daily Ticket. Luke is now on camera. John Jansen's on camera. Hopefully, you can hear us. Please let us know in the comments if we are not coming through. Of course, our guy Sean Menard is actually doing some hard work today, so he's not able to tune into the stream, or else he would definitely keep us update. But as I'm watching ESPN, Jack Harlow is on. Do you guys see him right now? Do you guys see him in the studio?
I'm not doing this thing. Rapper and actor. He's not an actor. Stop it. I don't care that he's in a movie. He's not an actor.
Well, I just want to talk about his hair.
Is Ray Allen an actor? Is Ray Allen an actor? Would you say he's an NBA player and an actor? No.
No.
Rapper and actor. Jack Harlow. He's barely a rapper. Get that bleep out of here. Get it out of here.
Yeah,
the movie's going to be absolute dog crap. It's going to be terrible.
Yeah. We got a movie take coming up here at 3:35 when Jerrold Colton joins the party. He'll be calling on the Gambler Hotline. But we opened up the
show to talk about with Jerrold.
Yeah, you do. Speaking of movie-related topics, as I said, we opened up the show talking about Game 6 and where we stand right now. There's a lot going on in Philadelphia sports. Keith Jones is now taking over the president's role for the Philadelphia Flyers. Danny Briere, the general manager. We won't spend too much time there, but we will discuss that. As I said, Phillies took 2 of 2 against the Toronto Blue Jays. Where are they going now? Colorado? They're going to Denver, right?
Yeah.
Yep. All right, so they're going to Denver. Talk more about that coming up a little bit later as well. But let's go ahead and talk a little bit more about Game 6 here this evening. I'll get right to it. I got my winning plays this evening. Number 1, Tyrese Maxey is so important to the success of this team. I think we could all agree Joel Embiid's going to get his 30. At this point in time, he's back. He's not healthy, but he's moved. He's more confident. He's definitely progressed in the right direction. I think we could go ahead and lock JoJo in to a 32 point performance. James Harden, your guess is as good as mine. I don't expect him to do 40. I would say somewhere around 25, 26. He's going to be aggressive. Tyrese Maxey is the key. He is everything. If you get a 3-headed monster, you're going to come away with the victory. Maxey's point total is at 19.5. It's very low. We've seen it as high as 24.5. I think game 1. Last game, it was as low as 18.5. We saw him go for 30 plus or 30. I fully expect Tyrese Maxey to be the difference tonight. So 19.5 is my favorite play on the board. Tyrese Maxey. Luke Arcaini, thumbs up, thumbs down.
Oh, I love that play. I think Maxey has a big night. I do think it's an Embiid night. Just based on, I think he's been through too much. I think he really just really wants to end this thing. But I do think Maxey has a good night tonight as well.
I think that's too much. I don't know. I'm not on Maxey. I'd rather be on Harden. I'd rather be on Embiid. This is not Maxey. I think that was the game for him. And he's obviously not shot well from 3 all series, and he's kind of had problems. So I don't know if I'm comfortable going back to the well with Maxey.
Well, and I don't think the Sixers are going to win unless they get production from a third player. And I'm not talking about 10 points from Daniel House Jr.
What about 10 points from Paul Reed? Come on.
Trick question, or not a trick question, but pop quiz. Can either of you guys spell Daniel? Do you know how he spells Daniel in Daniel House?
Isn't it Daniel? No.
Luke Arcaini, the writer. From the Liberty Line.
Hold on. So everybody's just been spelling it wrong.
Yeah, because no one actually looks up his name and they just think it's normal Daniel, Daniel. But it's
yeah, well, I'm still gonna spell it. You know what? I don't even care if this is disrespect to Daniel House Jr. That's not how Daniel Jr. No, it's Daniel. If that's the way you're gonna say it, that's the way it's spelled. We can't be making up ways to spell things. We can't be doing that. Daniel is spelled Daniel. It's like John and John are still spelled the same way. Jon and John still spelled the same way. But Daniel has never been spelled like that. Never. You can't do that. You can't just add a new vowel into that and say, yeah, no, it's the same. Can't do that. You can't do that.
Luke, how do you spell Luke?
Luke, the normal way. Nothing Nothing
Is there
crazy.
is there a crazy way to spell Luke?
Nothing crazy going on.
No, I don't think so. No, definitely don't.
No. Switch out. No. Just like Daniel House, switch out the U for the I, and it's still Luke. Not like it's Luke. Not likey. It's Luke.
All right. I just wanted to make sure that I asked Luke the question because I want to make sure that he sounds good in the stream. Please hit us up in the comments, tweet us if everything sounds good so we could proceed with the normal show here. Again, I'm the idiot here. I was the one that had to deal with car issues, dropped my car off at 11, thinking I'd have it by now. Nope, something else went wrong. And next thing you know, I'm getting blamed for it. And they're trying to hit me with a little bit of a charge. And I say, yo, bro, come on, man. Can't do that to me right now. I was like, I'm about to go live on air. I'm not going to talk dollars and cents right now. So you go ahead and do what you got to do. We'll talk later. So hopefully that's not going to cost me any money. But look, Jack Harlow's shooting actually has a decent shot.
I don't care. I don't care if he has a decent
although
shot.
I think he just airballed it.
What is he wearing?
Well, I mean,
that's an ugly shot. What do you mean? He came from the side a little bit. That was disgusting.
They're playing a game of Jack. Here we go.
Sweater vest, no undershirt.
You know what? I think it's more entertaining to watch us figure out how to get StreamYard going than it is watching Jack Harlow shoot a basketball on live television. I don't care. I really don't care. I don't care that they're going to play a Jack or they're playing Jack instead of horse, but I don't care. It's terrible.
Let's go ahead and get to
oh my God, none of them are making a shot.
Yo, Perkins looks terrible.
Oh, what is going this is excruciating television.
I bet you Malika Andrews got a better jump shot than all of them.
Probably. Danny Green is right there, even though we've watched Danny Green miss plenty of shots before.
I'm glad to see Danny Green that doesn't have the knee pads on while he's or the ice packs on his knees while he's doing this show. My man was a vet.
Oh my God.
He was a vet. Luke, how are we feeling about this game this evening? You heard my two plays. I want to hear your thoughts. Where are you going? You think it's an Embiid game? Are we just going to go ahead? Look, they brought down that number on DraftKings Sportsbook. It was listed at 40. 40-point performance was like plus 675. It's now down to 5-1, I believe. That's just not enough. That's a lot of points to ask from the big man for you to only give me 5-1. I'll pass on that play tonight. But do you think we might see JoJo go for 40 this evening?
I don't know about 40. I do think they win, and I think later when we look back on this game, I think the one person that you're going to think about is himself, Embiid. But I think you get more of an all-around team effort like you've been getting over the last few games. I think James Harden's really motivated. I think he's just really shown how truly much he wants to win this year. And I think Maxey obviously had his last game was fantastic. Tobias had a good game too. So I think you're going to get some really nice production from all four of them tonight. There is a few plays that I do like. Harden's assists, rebounds, and points is over 35.5 right now. I think Harden will be floating around maybe that 23, 24 point mark. But I like his assists as well, I think. I think Harden has more of a night where he's kind of giving it out to everyone while still scoring as well. So I'm a little more confident in tonight's game than I think I should be. But I think they've just been showing recently how much better that they've played in the playoffs in consistent years.
Yeah, I think the key in this game on betting it is figuring out which of the three Harden show up. Is it the scoring Harden? Is it the floor general Harden? Or is it the no Harden? I mean, that's, and I think we're going to see more assists. I'm along that line where I think it's going to be more of what we saw in Game 5. Yeah, I do, because a lot of the floor general stuff comes because of the pick and roll with Joel Embiid. It's more of Embiid, right? When that wasn't happening in Game 4, and they were kind of defending that well a little bit, it was more Harden and Joel Embiid just wasn't. I mean, still trying to get in the swing of things. It was more of Embiid taking a bad seat to Harden being the scorer. And so we know he can do that. It's just what way is Boston going to try and defend the pick and roll? How are they going to defend Harden? And I think my answer to that is I have no idea, because Missoula has made every move that I wouldn't and defended this in ways that I never thought they would. Yeah, he's been terrible.
I think it really relies just tonight on what you get out of the rest of the players from the Celtics, because I think the games that they've won, their bench has been fantastic. And in the games that they've lost, they've been horrendous. And I think obviously you basically know what you're going to get from Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, but it comes down to those guys off the bench like Malcolm Brogdon, those other role-playing guys like Marcus Smart, Al Horford. Because obviously, if Al Horford goes 0 for 10 like he did in Game 5, they're obviously not going to win, right? They need guys that can contribute, and I think I just don't see them winning if only 2 of their guys are up to par like that. And I think they've started to maybe fall off a little bit with that. I think their whole team together looked a lot better earlier in the series. And I think the last 2 games, it's been them really relying on 1, maybe 2 guys.
I did see the Liberty line. Drew Smith, in fact, had some information about possibly Jason Tatum being out enjoying the Philadelphia nightlife a little bit before Game 4.
Whoa, where did this intel come from?
Is there anything that you can share with us, Luke, on that one? I will tell you this much. I know that Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, and Marcus Smart, all 3 yesterday were at Bankroll, and I heard that they were really nice, really cool, really down to earth and quiet, and that's the place you want to go. You know, there's plenty of room, and you can hide off and get the best service possible. But I heard maybe Saturday night a couple players were out, including Jason Tatum. Any truth to that you could share, Luke?
Listen, I'm going to be completely honest with you. I didn't really know that was a thing. I never saw that. But hey, if Drew writes it, I'll probably believe it. You know what I mean? So
I don't think he wrote it.
Wait, are you sure? Are you sure you're going to believe it?
He tweeted it.
Yeah, I really didn't see that, honestly. But that would help the Sixers, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't really know what to take away from that, honestly.
Look, back in the day, you used to have pitchers and you know, players would be able to go out. Shoot, Michael Jordan went to AC and then dropped 45 the next night against the Knicks. You know?
Harden went to Vegas and put up 50. Come on.
And slapped them.
Tiger Woods went to Vegas and won multiple majors. All right. Tiger Woods went to Vegas, became the greatest golfer on the planet.
I think I perform better after a night out. Let's see how I look tomorrow.
No, you definitely don't. I know that for a fact. You don't.
Is Jerrold Colton on the line yet?
Yes, we do. You will not be able to hear Jerrold.
All right, well, you go for it. And please bring on Jerrold. I'll pop back on here at 4 o'clock. Obviously, I'm going to be listening. I can't wait to hear the story about air.
Yes, so joining us right now on the Gambler Hotline is going to be Jerrold Colton. Jerrold, first of all, I have many questions after watching Air, the movie about how Nike got Michael Jordan, because there was a bit of a tie-in with you in there. But I first want to ask, how are you feeling about the Sixers?
Jerk so bad with the nah. It was so much fun. And the bottom line is, John, before the series, you tell me we win 2 out of 3 in Boston, we better be able to finish it off at home. So I am feeling good, but tonight is critical, obviously, and they got to continue on what they've had. This Boston team looks there to be had. They have been dumb and somewhat heartless during the series, and we just can't let them breathe here. The Sixers can't tonight, and I'm really looking for Joel Embiid to come out with one of his biggest statement games ever for the Sixers. This is so huge. You're the MVP. You've talked about winning championships. This is what we've all done and tried to reach for so long as a franchise, as a city, as fans. And tonight, on their home court, can advance to the Eastern Conference Finals and eliminate the Boston Celtics. And if they don't do it, it will be so crushing. I am really looking for them to continue what they've gotten going here and head to the Eastern Conference Finals. So I feel good about tonight. I'm a little bit surprised that they are underdogs.
I was too.
Yeah.
I was surprised yesterday that they were underdogs. That tells me that I still think public bettors and, of course, sportsbooks still believe that Boston can win this game, get back in this series, and ultimately, I think, take this series.
And it's not even like a true like straight line either. Like they're what? 2.5
Last I saw
right
was
now?
2. Yeah, 2. I think it might have gone up to 2.5.
Money line's the money line's plus 120. So,
Jerrold, we've been trying to figure this out, and I will ask you, how do they get it done? Is it Tyrese Maxey again putting up, I don't know, 30, but is this Tyrese Maxey having a good game again? Is this a Tobias Harris game? Is it Harden or Embiid putting up 40? What is the path to winning Game 6?
John, when I spoke to Sean Monday afternoon before or Tuesday afternoon before Tuesday night's game, when I was talking to him from right next to TD Garden, I pointed to Maxey. I said, we need one of his 30-point, 5 3-point efforts. And he goes out and gets 30 points and 6 3-pointers. But I also felt that in that game. And I also said, we need 10 points out of house. No, I did not say that. I expected that one. But I really thought on Tuesday night, everyone played well. Everyone who took the court for the Sixers played their role, and they played it well, and it was a terrific performance all the way across the board. In particular, guys that I'm hard on a lot, which is like Tobias Harris, and it was just a great effort all the way around. And you'd love to see that again, because that's really what champions do. I mean, we clearly rode James Harden for 2 victories in this series. I'd hate to see that have to happen, but if anybody I'm expecting to step up, and I've been harder on the times, I'm expecting Joel Embiid to realize that this is his night to show how great he is, how he is the MVP, and take his team and carry it like really what great players do. And if he does that, everyone else should be able to fall in line. And hopefully we get continued good efforts from Tobias. The few minutes that Paul plays. I expect, I guess, that House will be playing another role. I know your guy Melton, he did what he was supposed to the other night. And Harden has been, for the most part, I mean, look, games 2 and 3 weren't good, but he's been unbelievable the other ones, and I expect him to do whatever needs to be done. And that's how I felt he did it on Tuesday night. I felt like it was one of his really smart games where when they first got him, I remember you telling me that guys like Victor already told you he's a basketball savant. And we haven't always seen that from him. He really read every situation really well on Tuesday night. And I'm hoping that they do that, and they should feel really good about themselves if they can and head with home court advantage in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah, definitely when Doc pointed that out, that Harden, because, Harden really didn't get much attention in that game because he was distributing, and, Harden just had a great pace to him in that game. And it was really cool that Doc pointed that out because, as you just said, Dick Girardi has called him a basketball savant. And that was really one time in a big game that we were able to actually see that. But Jerrold, I know Game 6 is huge tonight, and I can't wait for it. But I saw a movie yesterday. The movie called Air. It is Ben Affleck's movie. He is awesome as a director. He's awesome in it as Phil Knight, the CEO of Nike. But this movie is about, if anyone hasn't seen it yet, Nike getting Michael Jordan and the process of getting Michael Jordan to sign with them and to create this Air Jordan brand. And it was really interesting because Michael Jordan's agent was David Falk. I don't know if it still was, but he was the agent at that time, at least, David Falk. But I heard a name in there that I was really curious about, and there has to be a story. So David Falk mentioned that he was also the agent of Boomer Esiason. I thought you were the agent of Boomer Esiason, so there had to have been something that happened there. What happened between David Falk and then all of a sudden you become the agent?
John, it's really interesting because you're the first one who's told me that was actually in the movie. And so I've been wanting to see it, but I haven't seen it yet myself. So I was kind of surprised when I got your text. So here is the story. And I guess the movie's really based on facts that occurred around 1985, I would presume, based on when Air Jordan came and all those things. And David Falk at that time was the world's biggest agent. And David is an incredibly smart, very talented person. And that era, he was the biggest agent in the world. He had a lot of great NBA players because in addition to Jordan, he had Patrick Ewing and Alonzo Mourning and on and on and on. And as big as his roster was, so was David Falk's ego. Now, I say that with complete due respect. And David, I don't think David would deny that. I got to know him over the years. But at that point, I was still a law student when Michael Jordan came out. I graduated law school in 1987 and started my legal career. I was not a sports agent. I had a pretty good background in sports and a lot of good connections through my uncle being a Sixers equipment manager and a whole bunch of other things I've been fortunate to happen. In about 1990 specifically, I met Boomer Esiason, who at that point was a year removed from being MVP of the NFL, having led the Bengals to the Super Bowl. They lost on a crushing thing to the 49ers and didn't return, of course, until a couple of years ago with Joe Burrow. And Boomer and I struck up a friendship. Then I started to handle some legal matters for him. And then he saw that because of the connections I had through Philadelphia sports, and mostly I was a young lawyer, I was representing people in the Eagles organization, like assistant coaches John Gruden, Jeff Fisher, who all worked under Buddy Ryan. And all these people started splintering out over the league and unintentionally. And when I say represent them, I'm talking like showing up in the traffic court for speeding tickets and handling real estate closings. But I had a really good network as a young lawyer out through the NFL. And Boomer and I became friends. I was a big sports fan, and I knew all these people. And he was not feeling it from his agent, David Falk, because David Falk represented guys like Michael Jordan and was much more of a basketball guy. So he asked me if I would represent him. And John, I'm at this point, I'm not even 30 years old. And I had never done it in my life. And
you're not even 30 years old yet, and he's asking to move on from the biggest agent in the world, and then here comes you. No offense, right there. Yeah, that's just a lot of pressure. Yeah. That's a big move.
You can't mess that up.
And Boomer was a year and a half my senior himself. So, but I had done some good stuff for him, and I was at the time, I mean, a few drinks ago, I was a pretty smart guy. So anyway, so at first I'm nervous about doing it, and I'm like, it's all right. But whatever you need out of me, I'll be there. If I'd assist in any way. But there's no way you get rid of David Falk for Jerrold Colton. Yeah, I'm glad you find that funny. But
no, it's just funny because David Falk is mentioned as like the guy who was able to help foster the deal that changed really everything with these kind of deals.
But see, when I talk about David's ego, and I don't say it knocking him, it's just a freaking fact about him that everyone who's ever been around him knows, and he literally doesn't deny it, that when you hear David Falk through the years tell the Jordan stories and Air Jordan, all that stuff, David really makes it sound like he believes he made Michael Jordan instead of the other way around. I mean, it egos that much. And so Boomer said, all right, I think you're going to be better at this than David, and let's do a phone call, the three of us, me, you, and David. He didn't want me to talk on it. Now, I know that sounds like nothing, John. Doing a three-way call in 1990 was hard. You say a lot of pressure. I was so nervous about being able to do this. But I passed the test. I got it. Call, because this is an interesting story. By the end of the call, I just said to Boomer, listen, I'm happy to represent you because David was all about David. He didn't really had some great football players like Boomer and Desmond Howard, a few other big names, but he was a basketball guy, and he didn't even know the name of the GM he was supposed to negotiate Boomer's deal with, and it was just clear he didn't know. It was clear he was about David Falk, and Boomer was a star quarterback who wanted someone who was about him, as he deserved to have. And by the end, I said, I'm ready to do this. And the first deal I ever did made him the highest paid player of all time. But David said to me, and he called me up one Sunday right after that, and when Boomer told me he was going to be moving to me, and I had met him a few times, and he said, Jerrold, just please never tell anybody I got fired. he was so worried. He was so worried about. He goes, I'll be sending you players over the years. I'll help you out. And now here we are, 33 years later. I'm telling everybody he got fired.
Yeah, let him know.
He never sent a player to me. B, I heard he didn't always say flattering things about me behind my back. So like such as Johnny, you'll appreciate. Jerrold's a nice guy, but
yeah,
and then everything comes you for the butt is a bunch of BS. And so we are 33 years later. Boomer's been one of the most important people in my life. I know he was very pleased with the services I've always given him, and we've stayed together in a lot of both personal and professional ways. And I'd say that was a life-changing moment. But I can't wait to see the reference in the movie. I guess it's a very quick reference. It was enough for me because he was mentioning David Falk. I can't remember the actor who was playing David Falk, but in the movie he mentioned, I'm a big agent. I'm the agent of Boomer Esiason. Because I think it was Scott Vaccaro. I think that I'm remembering his name correctly. I always forget, but it was Sonny Vaccaro. My bad. Sonny Vaccaro was trying to obviously get Michael Jordan, and Nike at the time wasn't Nike. They were
a smaller company, the 3, and so they were talking on the phone, and he was basically trying to big time him in like, do remember who I am? I'm David Falk. I'm the the agent of guys like
That's
Boomer
it.
Esiason and stuff like that.
That's funny.
And so I heard that I was
guess
like, wait, no, you know you're not. No, you're not. And then obviously he was.
I guess the next sentence where I said, wait, but you later get fired for Jerrold Colton. That got cut out.
Now I know. That's what I wanted to know. I knew there was some story there. And now I want to ask, because Nike, look, they're trying to, this was a glorified commercial if anybody hasn't seen the movie yet. It's a great movie. Ben Affleck's great. Matt Damon plays great as Sonny Vaccaro, and really good cast, but it's a glorified commercial. And Nike's like, well, we helped change the game for athletes in giving them percentage of revenue for their brand, all this stuff like that. What was the significance of Michael Jordan's shoe deal, and how did that change being an agent and deals like this forever?
All right. Before I go there, just a real quick backtrack, because that's like the first deal I ever did for Boomer, being the highest paid player ever. And what do you think it was? Because we just saw Jalen Hurts get $255
It's not $255 million. Yeah, no. It's not, it's not that number. I don't know what number it is. It's not that one.
It was $3 million a year, which at the time was a lot of money, and the 3% commission was $90,000, which was fine. But now imagine 3% of 250.
Right.
We wouldn't be having this conversation anyway. I just say this. God bless Jalen Hurts' agent.
A lot of money.
The ground that was laid by Boomer Esiason, and obviously the advancement of salaries as they should be. I mean, the league justified him getting a lot more than that back then, but they hadn't gone on strike yet. They hadn't gotten to free agency yet, and just a lot of things have changed since that time. But now back to your question, which was a good one, because what really changed in this world was just the total marketability of athletes. Instead of, up till then, the athlete endorsements had been things such as Joe DiMaggio, Mr. Coffee. But the actual players such as Magic Johnson and say Julius Erving, they had these little Converse deals, but they were small, and nobody was making that big money off the court, and nobody certainly was a brand. And truly, Michael Jordan became the first. It was a phenomenon. I remember the first time I saw those shoes, my friend Kenny Safraga, the ugliest looking things I ever saw at the time, and now they're so beautiful and iconic and fashionable. Because listen, I grew up wearing the Chuck Taylors, and not because they were a fashion statement, because that's the best shoe that there was, and it all changed. And I even still have some old Dr. J shoes that he used to wear when he played, and they were really milky, but they didn't even call them. They didn't name them after the players, and the players were not really well compensated. So it just changed everything. But by the same token, here we are, at this point, almost 40 years later, and it's still the biggest one there ever was. So it was something really, really special about the right guy. And to David's credit, David recognized the marketability, the uniqueness of his client.
Who does get the credit there? Is it Nike? Is it, because I think one of the qualms I had with the movie, I hated the ending of it, because then they put up all of these things about Nike, and obviously it's a true story, so that everything that happened afterwards, and it was a lot of patting Nike on the back for like, hey, it was a game-changing deal. Phil Knight has donated billions of dollars to charity organizations. I'm like, all right, now this is just a fluff piece. Yeah. Like now this entire movie, I'm looking at it a completely different way. So
it's like a huge flex.
Yeah, right. It was like a huge flex on how great Nike is. So what was who takes part most in this deal being made? Is it Jordan and his parents? Is it the agent? Is it Nike? Who does get sort of the pat on the back, which I think was unrightfully given to Nike for being like, we're game changers, when I didn't feel like they were.
I want to see how the story was told, but I gotta believe that Vaccaro had a lot to do with it. Because Vaccaro was really the guy behind the scenes of basketball, orchestrating stuff and the youth basketball.
Yeah, it was. So the story's basically told through him. So he is given the prominent part in this.
When I dabbled a little bit as a basketball agent, I got to know Sonny a little bit, and he had his hands in everything, and he was extremely creative and clever. I mean, he also worked for Adidas and started their camp, and he was so infiltrated through all the AAUs of the world, really furnished his sneakers really against the rules to kids everywhere. I really thought it was kind of Sonny Vaccaro's creation of, hey, Phil Knight, waking up Phil Knight, you can branch out besides just being track. We have an opportunity here because no one's really taking advantage. I mean, you guys don't even remember how big Puma was at one point in the NBA, because like Clyde Frazier in the 70s for the Knicks were these suede Pumas, and that was my favorite shoe I ever had, a purple suede Puma. But it was, and there was something called Pony, I remember, because a few of the players would get a few dollars and free sneakers, and that's what they would take at the time. But I really thought, in my understanding of the story, back when it was occurring, that Vaquero had a lot to do with it.
Yes.
But look, I'm not going to knock Phil Knight. He at least backed it and had the vision to recognize that it was an opportunity to take advantage of it. And what's really hard when you're dealing with any kind of celebrity and athlete is maintaining a relationship for a long time. And Phil Knight and Michael Jordan have had an unbelievable relationship for both them personally and professionally that has made them literally billions of dollars. And I don't want to knock Phil Knight's role in this thing, because you couldn't have ever made it happen and sustained it. Being pretty special to Michael Jordan.
So last question about this, because I found this all fascinating. And then, of course, the tie-in with you. It's like, okay, Jerrold's the perfect person to talk about all this stuff with. One of my favorite parts of the movie, probably the best part and the pivotal part, which I don't think, by the way, can I spoil anything in this movie? It's like all well documented. If you don't know this story by now, I'm not spoiling it. But
that's like that. You didn't like the anyway. Did they kill Michael Jordan in there?
Right, exactly. No, so Sonny Vaccaro went behind.
It's all a dream.
Yeah,
and then he woke up.
And then he woke up. Like, it has some Inception type twist. No, so the pivotal part of the movie is Sonny Vaccaro ends up bypassing the agent and goes directly to North Carolina, talks to Michael Jordan's mother, and that's how they got basically their way into finally having a meeting, because Michael Jordan was not going to meet with Nike, because why would I meet with Nike? They're a third-tier company. I can go to either Adidas, maybe go to Converse, but, I think Adidas was the one that really wanted him, and he wanted them because Adidas was so big at the time. But he ends up bypassing the agent and going to the mother. How big of a deal is that? And how upset would you be if somebody like Sonny Vaccaro bypasses you to talk straight to the client you represent?
John, we are a couple hours away, 3 hours away, 3.5 from the Sixers start of Game 6 Eastern Conference Semifinals, and this is a topic that we could spend hours about someday. So let's come back to but I want to make. I just want to answer your points because they're great questions, and that is, one of the things that is tough in the agent world is the lack of rules and regulations. And there is now, back then there wasn't, but certification is necessary to negotiate with the clubs in different sports. So you need to be certified by the National Baseball Players Association to negotiate with an NBA club and National Football Players Association, et cetera, through all the sports. That didn't exist back then. The other part is it can be a difference between marketing agents versus the actual contract agents, which didn't exist back then. And again, I'm curious how it's portrayed, but you're kind of pointing out the things that I know about David Falk, Falk was kind of standing in the way of the deal because he was making it about Falk, probably.
Yes. Wow. It's almost like you watched the movie or know what happened. Yes.
Well, I know David. I'm sure David's version of the story is probably different than they told on film. Because it's not called, the movie's not called David Falk, so it's got to be different than his version. And the thing is that, from my standpoint, if I was negotiating a deal and someone sort of cut me out and backstab me, I'd be irate, but I don't know if in the situation you'd have a leg to stand on, and whether or not you'd be able to sustain your relationship with your client if you stood in the way of that. So it's not something that's savory, but again, there's no real rules, John. And Sonny Vaccaro just wanted to get a deal done. And that guy, that's a guy from the streets of Brooklyn who is a street fighter, kind of almost pseudo. I don't want to make any references that may not be true or supported, but almost like pseudo mobster type character. And I wouldn't imagine he's going to play by rules. He wanted to get a deal done, and not only did he get a deal done, he got the deal done. It was a game changer in so many ways. So I would have been upset, but he got what he wanted. Now, I'm sure that part of it's probably a little bit accurate about going to the parents. People try to cut you out as the agent all the time. You got to be very territorial.
Yes, and he was, and Sonny Vaccaro knew that Michael Jordan was the guy. It was kind of cheesy how it landed on like, this is how Sonny Vaccaro thought that Michael Jordan was going to be the greatest player, and it was very cheesy moments that I just rolled my eyes at. But still, solid movie. I do recommend watching it if you have some interest in it. I think a lot of people are going to like it. It's a very well directed movie. But yeah, Jerrold, there was a tie-in with you, so I feel like you definitely have to watch it just for that small moment.
Thanks, John. I've told you about my own experience in movies and my own.
That's
IMDb.
Right. You're a producer. You're a movie producer. You know?
And I was in that movie. I got to show you the scene sometime.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. You were in the movie. You're as much of an actor as Jack Harlow is. ESPN's trying to tell me Jack Harlow is an actor because he's in the remake of White Men Can't Jump, which is ludicrous. But Jerrold, we got to go. Thank you for joining me. Go Sixers. Hopefully a Game 6 win. So we're not talking about Game 7 with you next. We're talking about the Sixers and in the Eastern Conference Finals. But appreciate you coming on, and of course, spilling the insights on how you got Boomer Esiason, because that was fascinating.
You got just showing back on his own show, but John, biggest Sixers. And look, we've had some big games.
This is one of the biggest.
Whatever,
it's huge.
Biggest one I've ever watched.
Yeah,
we've lost those big ones in the past. This would be the biggest Philadelphia 76ers win since 2001. Let's go get it.
Let's get it. That is Jerrold Colton joining us on the Gambler Hotline. We do have to go to a break. Coming up next, I do want to go over some of the things that Jerrold talked about, and hopefully Sean was listening so we can discuss that. But also more bets for Game 6. Also NFL schedule release. We're starting to get some of those. Oh, we have one Monday Night Football matchup for the Eagles. We'll talk about that and more coming up next here on the Daily Ticket.
Your home for Villanova basketball is WDAS and WD273D. Fox Sports Radio Philadelphia. Fox Sports Radio, The Gambler. Now, total traffic for Philadelphia.
Heads up, a crash is 95 northbound Jan across Roe Point Bridge, all the way up to the Walt Whitman where the left lane is blocked, and then further north Jan Girard to Bridge, southbound heavy approaching Compton to Bridge, and Jan Walt Whitman to Broad with a gate for delay. All right, to tell total traffic.
This report is sponsored by Wendy's Biggie Bag. When you think Wendy's Biggie Bag, think your go-to meal deal with your choice of JBC, double stack or crispy chicken sandwich, plus 4-piece nugs, junior fries, and a small soft drink. Biggie hits every time. So grab a Biggie Bag today. U.S. price and participation may vary. Third-party delivery pricing may be higher.
Stay tuned to Fox PHL The Gambler for the latest CEOs you should know.
My name is Roy Lightstein. I'm the CEO and president of Legacy Treatment Services.
Every day in business is a big day. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Jake from State Farm here to answer your what ifs.
What if I need a policy, but I just can't choose?
An agent can help you choose. At State Farm, we're there for your what ifs. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Call or go to statefarm.com for a quote today.
Are you hungry for the inside scoop of women's soccer? I'm Sam Mewis. And I'm Lynn Williams. And we're professional soccer players, best friends, and the hosts of Snacks, the only women's soccer podcast hosted by active players that gets into the most recent news, gossip, and fun of the NWSL, the women's national team, and the delightful, delicious world of Snacks. It's a weekly show that features great guests from the world of women's soccer, recaps and previews of the biggest matches, and the two of us hanging out with you. You can listen to Snacks on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
My friend and I are taking a trip to Mexico this year, but neither of us speak Spanish. So we downloaded Babbel and started learning Spanish fast.
Want to start getting conversational in another language in as little as 3 weeks? Babbel's quick 10-minute lessons were designed by language experts to be the most efficient and effective way to learn a new language.
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿Cómo te llamas?
Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com.
Anywhere fans go to cheer on their team, there are behind-the-scenes MVPs, ensuring everything is game day ready. We see you, Joe, fixing seats so every fan can enjoy every game. And Allie, who keeps her stadium running smoothly from the moment the first game starts to the last play of the season. At Grainger, you're our MVPs, and we're always here for you, with supplies and solutions for every industry and 24/7 customer support. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Newsmax is conducting an urgent poll, asking if it was right for Fox News to fire Tucker. Do you want Tucker back on TV? Let us know what you think. Vote in the Newsmax poll. Just text us now. Text the word RESPOND to 39747. That's RESPOND to 39747. Let your voice be heard. Text RESPOND to 39747. Millions made the switch to Newsmax. You can too. Texting enrolls for automated text messages. Message and data rates may apply.
Are you hungry for the inside scoop of women's soccer? I'm Sam Mewis. And I'm Lynn Williams. And we're professional soccer players, best friends, and the hosts of Snacks, the only women's soccer podcast hosted by active players that gets into the most recent news, gossip, and fun of the NWSL, the women's national team, and the delightful, delicious world of snacks.
It's a weekly show that features great guests from the world of women's soccer, recaps and previews of the biggest matches, and the two of us hanging out with you.
You can listen to Snacks on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Monday Night Football, November 20th. That date's going to be an interesting one. Tune into the Daily Ticket, Fox Sports The Gambler. Follow us at Fox BHL Gambler on Twitter, Fox Sports The Gambler on Twitter. John Jansen here with Luke Arcaini in the studio. Maybe Sean Bray shows up. I don't know. He left and is just gone. I just see we're on StreamYard. I can see a mural of Joel Embiid, and that's it, and a microphone. So unless that mural can talk,
just looking at the
we're not getting
tire
anything out of
outside.
Bray.
It's just
Arguing with this car mechanic. So, Luke, November 20th, Monday Night Football. Why is that a big deal?
It's officially announced. Eagles-Chiefs, Monday Night Football, the Super Bowl 56 rematch.
Was it 56?
56 or 57?
57.
57. 57 rematch, Monday night, prime time.
Come on, learn your Roman numerals.
Oh, sorry.
Luke, did they even teach that in school anymore?
No,
not really. Okay.
We learned 1 to 10.
I did in grade school I learned.
Yeah, we learned about 1 to 10, and then after that, you were on your own.
But I also was in Catholic school, and I learned cursive, and I know public schools didn't do that.
Yeah, I kind of just learned cursive over time, but we never really had like cursive, Roman numerals, none of that stuff.
No, wow.
Regular English. That's about it.
That's pretty good. Learning that would be helpful.
That is good.
But yeah, so Eagles-Chiefs. So, I mean, NFL schedule release day. So we got to do the normal thing. Is that a win or a loss, Luke Arcaini? Is that a W or an L?
Oh, that has loss written all
that's
over
an
it.
L.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I know we all want.
Come on, it's the rematch.
We all want a super.
It's the revenge game.
How
are you going to tell me they're not going to win that one?
We all want a Super Bowl rematch. We all want it. It'll probably be a nice, probably high scoring game again.
What if Kansas City's not good? Yeah,
I mean, I think everyone said that last year at the beginning of the season when that division got loaded.
That was way overblown.
And everyone thought
that
the Broncos were going to win their division.
Yeah, that was always to me way overblown.
Yeah.
That was the Chiefs are never going to be bad. They were always going to win that division.
Yeah, there was like 12-5 Broncos predictions in the AFC West and stuff like that. They're just brutal stuff.
Yeah, Broncos did well. Yeah, they were close.
Oh, yeah,
definitely close.
Great football team.
So the Eagles-Chiefs Monday night. So let's go to the phones. A podcast that also somehow gets all of these sources enough that they're like releasing the schedule as it goes on. So I don't know. Is this spoiling? Are these spoilers as well? I don't know why I'm so worried about spoilers on this program. But I mean, there is a thread of games, and they've gotten this right last year. They also had some other news that they broke that also came to fruition. So right now they are reporting that the Eagles are going to play at Tampa week 3 Monday Night Football, week 9 November 5th against Dallas. That is a home game. The game at Dallas is going to be week 14th, December 10th, week 12, November 26th against Buffalo, week 13.
Yeah, so this is the thing. I don't know if you're looking at that whole leaked schedule that
there's a whole
gone
leaked
out.
schedule.
Yeah, so
okay.
there was a picture. Obviously, I don't remember off the top of my head where it came from, but it was getting posted around a lot. And the Eagles have a brutal stretch.
Yeah, from what we're seeing here. So week 12 is going to be Buffalo. Week 14 at Dallas. Week 13, the 49ers. We know that one. Week 11, Kansas City. They reported that before it just got made official.
Yeah,
so now these guys are seeing it.
Now this league schedule is looking like week 9 home versus Dallas, week 10 bye, and then week 11 is
at least they give them a bye week before the gauntlet starts.
And then it's at Kansas City, home versus Buffalo, home versus the Niners, at Dallas.
Can you tell
at
this
Seattle.
is a number 1 schedule?
Yeah, I mean, they have the
This
hardest one in
this is what you
the
get when you
NFL.
win a division.
Yeah.
When you're at the top of the division, you face others at the top of divisions, and the Eagles. I mean, that is
brutal,
rough.
It's brutal.
Obviously, it's not going to change. Look, you're not going to change much when it comes to win totals. I think the Eagles are 10.5. They're still probably going to win double digits. They're still going to win 13, but man, that is for the end of the season when I'm sure Buffalo's going to be fighting off the Jets. And I'm sure Kansas City is going to have probably a tougher challenge with the Chargers this year because I think the Chargers are going to be better. I think Denver is going to be better. And, of course, Dallas and the Eagles for that division. Those are all games that are going to be must-win games for these teams.
Brutal.
It is going to be rough. And it's just at the end of the season. What I can't stand, the 49ers got to let it go.
Dude. The whole Kyle Shanahan and his wife.
I've never heard this much complaining about one game in my entire
They're going to be
life.
talking about it the middle of next season while they got a game.
Kyle Shanahan's going to be talking about this until he's put in his grave. Like, this is going to be something. Oh, well, we would have won that game if we had You lost your quarterbacks because you were a terrible coach, which, by the way, Kyle Shanahan is an awesome coach. I love Kyle Shanahan. He sometimes has problems in the playoffs calling games. I don't know. The Super Bowl in which Tom Brady came back and beat the Atlanta Falcons, who he was the offensive coordinator of, and they got back into the game because of his mishaps play calling. And then the 49ers had issues even in the Super Bowl against Kansas City and even in the playoffs moving forward, continue to have problems. Kyle Shanahan, buddy, you were blocking Hassan Reddick with a tight end. I think you're the problem.
Yeah, you didn't lose Brock Purdy. Hassan Reddick ended Brock. Like there's a fine line between the two of those.
The quarterback was not protected. It sucks that he got hurt. I obviously don't want anybody hurt, but he got hurt because he wasn't protected.
And Hassan Reddick just outplayed every single person on that line. And that's what happens when you put a guy with 12, 13 something sacks last year. You put a tight end on him.
I just the fact that they're all geared up for this, and we wanted a week 13 because you're going to be healthy.
This is their Super Bowl.
My question is, who is your quarterback going to be even then? Really, it's going to be Brock Purdy?
Well,
you're telling me he's excited that Brock Purdy is going to be back.
Well, he said
and he's going to beat the Eagles this time.
He said earlier that they have 3 elite quarterbacks on their roster in Sam Darnold, Trey Lance, and Brock Purdy.
All elite. And let me tell you, Sam Darnold, that guy's definitely elite.
You know what's crazy? If you combined all 3 of those quarterbacks and their best attributes, I would still take Jalen Hurts.
I don't know. Those are good attributes.
What? Lance's?
It's just
Lance's speed.
Darnold's
arm. And Purdy's
I guess
nothing from Purdy.
Decision making. I don't know. Accuracy. He doesn't have accuracy.
No.
By the way, Brock Purdy is not accurate. Zero accuracy.
He's not good.
He's not good. Okay, maybe you're right. That's what they say. You combine 3 quarterbacks and you're trying to take on one. I mean, you got to be something. But yeah, who is the decision maker there? Brock Purdy, I guess, a decent decision maker.
Sure can't be Sam Darnold.
It's sure, absolutely not. Sam Darnold, if the first guy's not open, he's tucking it and running it. Trey Lance, I don't even know if he knows how to play the quarterback position yet because he's barely played quarterback in his career.
Games.
Yeah, and even dating back to college, he only started one season where he hardly threw the ball because they were a running team. And then he gets to San Francisco, has a couple of games, but still not throwing a lot. He hasn't played quarterback a lot. I have no idea what this guy is. And since he hasn't played quarterback a lot, he's probably not going to know the game very well coming back from it in his, 3rd year. So, yeah, you're probably right. That's a good call by you. You can combine all 3 quarterbacks like Voltron for the – do you know what Voltron is?
No.
I don't think you know. I barely know this. Sean Brace was the one that first made this analogy about something, the Voltron, but it's like a bunch of machines and they combine together for like this big Voltron.
I see it here, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
Voltron machine. It's like Power Rangers?
Oh, yeah.
You're a Power Rangers kid. You know when they combine
Power
together
Rangers,
and they form the giant
get all their
robot?
thing,
You can do that with Brock Purdy, Trey Lance, and Sam Darnold. Combined
Jalen
together
Hurts
like Voltron, and Jalen Hurts is still going to beat them and still better than them. So, yeah, that's a good call by you. All right, so the schedule is going to be released. We're going to get it continue to be leaked, and whenever we get something. Game 6 also tonight. I do want to go back to Jerrold Colton. He was just on with us. He is the former agent of Boomer Esiason, by the way. We know him a lot because he was the agent with Jari Evans, and he's also local around here. And Jerrold Colton took over for David Falk, who got fired. And David Falk was the agent of Michael Jordan when they made the Air Jordan deal. So you have not seen the movie yet. I have seen the movie. I think it's a good movie. I enjoyed it. I don't know if I can go with the fluff piece of like, because I don't look at Nike and like, man, you guys, you really changed the game. You guys are awesome. Like, good for you, Nike.
See, if there's one
this underdog corporation who was already a publicly traded company at the time, they're an underdog. Yeah. You know, they were losing to Adidas and Converse, and now all of a sudden, look what they did. Okay. They changed the world. No. I can't do that.
See, see, I'm not a huge movie guy, but if I'm watching a movie,
are you a big Michael Jordan guy?
No.
Okay,
I'm on the other side.
This is great. This is great that Brace is not here because Brace would love the movie because it's all about Michael Jordan's gonna be amazing.
Yeah,
and like there's this whole big speech. And if I'm spoiling the movie for you, I guess I'm not spoiling anything.
It's
for
all
you.
facts.
It's all fact. It's all there. But like the big moment in the movie, and it's supposed to be this amazing. This big speech Sonny Vaccaro is giving Michael Jordan, and this is the one that's going to get Michael Jordan to sign with Nike. You know he's going to, but how did it happen? And it's this big speech by Sonny Vaccaro. And it's this really lame, you're going to be the greatest basketball player to ever live. You're going to win multiple championships. You're going to be MVP. You're going to be this it's basically the speech. It's corny as hell. So basically the speech is like just going through Michael Jordan's career and telling him what he's going to be as if Nike predicted everything of what Michael Jordan was going to be. That's a little bit of a fluff to me.
Yeah, no.
That's a fluff piece. Is because and you know at the end of the movie they do the thing, you know, you see it all the time in true stories where like this person, like remember the Titans, you'll see this person went on to do this and they went on to, you know, be a lawyer somewhere, or you know they went to college.
What, they're like, oh, Michael Jordan went on to win 6 championships.
No, they didn't say that. No. You thought that would have been it. He would have gone on to win multiple championships, a multi MVP, or you know a big ambassador for the Air Jordan brand, all of this stuff.
Yeah.
And it just said greatest basketball player of all time.
See, no. And
I'm like, you guys are making quite the claim there. That is, so they're doing all this factual, this is what this guy is, and this is where he's been and what he's doing. And then it's just Michael Jordan's the greatest basketball player.
Yeah, I won't be watching this movie, I don't think.
and it became not only a fluff piece for Nike, I'm like, okay, now you're just playing into the masses of Michael Jordan fandom. If you're a Michael Jordan fan and you loved Lance Dance the way that Sean Brace did, and you were such a, oh my God, Jordan's amazing.
See, did you like the Last Dance?
I liked it. By the end of it, I was kind of tired of it. It's like, okay,
yeah,
I get it. Jordan's
Me too,
this great leader and all this. I don't think it went deep enough into Jordan's kind of a bleep. He's kind of a bleep hole.
Yeah. Oh, he is.
And it didn't. I don't think it went into the issues because it was just easy to go. Jerry Reinsdorf sucked, and because he does. And whatever the GM was, he sucked. And like, yeah, of course he does. But it was just given a pass that Michael Jordan was a bleep hole to his teammates, and that it was just like for the spirit of the game. Or maybe you just suck as a person, and you're just really a great basketball player. But I could not stand the fact that this was all just one big. Because the thing is, Ben Affleck is good. He's a great director. And I know he's directed other movies before. I don't think I've seen too many of his movies because I'm not. Are you a Ben Affleck guy? I know you just said you're not a movie guy.
Yeah.
But there are
like
actors like
I do.
I'm not. Matt Damon's all right. You know, Ben Affleck's fine. What are other? Tom Cruise. I'm not a big Tom Cruise guy. Like there are some actors. What?
You like Leonardo DiCaprio?
Oh, Leonardo DiCaprio's a goat.
That's my.
He's the Michael. He's the Michael Jordan of acting.
There it is. There it is.
Even though I made a lot of people really angry with that. Or is he the LeBron James because he's new and everybody's going to give me some older actor?
I like the LeBron
okay,
comparison.
He's the LeBron one, yeah. Because he's had some bad movies. He's had some bad ones. He was in that movie with Jennifer Lawrence, and they're like, it's supposed to be really funny about they're trying to tell him like the world's going to end. There's this big meteor, and everybody's just laughing it off.
Yeah,
and it was supposed to be funny. It's a terrible movie. I can understand like the point and the sentiment they're trying to make. It's a terrible, terrible movie. But yeah, you know, he's had some bad ones. You know, DiCaprio hasn't been in every great movie, but
I don't think everyone's been in every movie
Jordan
they've been in
won,
is great.
LeBron James has won every time he's been to the finals. But I mean, it's impressive that he's gotten all these movies and made all the movies the way they did. And he's in some GOAT movies like The Departed, very good movie. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of those guys, so I was pleasantly surprised. All of this is I recommend seeing Air if you again big Nike guy, Michael Jordan. But outside of that, this has nothing for you. nothing.
No.
Unless you're really into the directing chops of Ben Affleck.
Nope.
I think you got nothing.
Nope.
All right, moving on to actual basketball. Game 6 tonight between the Sixers and the Celtics. So you're on Tyrese Maxey props. Is that correct?
Yes. I mean, I don't think it's going to be like a huge Maxey game. I don't really. Where is props at here? I just really think it's going to be more of a team effort like it's been. And I think obviously once we look back at this game after, which we obviously hope is a win, and I do think will be a win, I think the first person you're going to think of is Embiid in this game. But I just think Maxey, I think he's slowly starting to pick it up a little bit. And I think obviously we know how much he's had a hard time with Boston.
Can I get credit to Doc for that as well?
Yes,
I feel like
100%.
Doc put him in good positions
Yes.
because Tyrese Maxey succeeds in very certain circumstances. This is the one kind of fault of Maxey and the one criticism I have, because he can't just create on his own. He's not going to be a great facilitator. I think he plays off of a lot of what Harden does and what the Sixers do around him, and he can succeed and just let his talents flourish.
Which that is what he should do, I think.
Right, exactly.
And
so
I think that's
with the
taken him
Sixers.
a little bit of time to get.
If he needed to be asked to do any more for the Sixers, he wouldn't be able to do it. But he's asked to do that, and he does it in a spectacular way. But it's hard to do that against Boston because Boston defends you so well that it's not going to be as easy to get him in those spots. So to me, credit to Doc for out-coaching Joe Mazzulla and having Tyrese Maxey open up for this huge game. A lot of that was Maxey hit his shots, for sure, but he had open shots. And I think credit to Doc for the offense and the way that it ran.
Big credit James Harden as well. Doc in general, too. I mean, I feel like this is no doubt his best coached series and playoff so far with the Sixers. I think there's obviously been years where there's been fire Doc, and we all know that. And I still don't think Doc is at the top of everybody's list.
Yeah,
but
it's funny because I was a part of the fire Doc thing too, but only because at some point you just got to change something.
Exactly.
You have
and
to
that's
move on.
the same side I was on as well.
I was never the Doc is a terrible coach. I thought Doc had his flaws. He for sure had his flaws. I always thought they were overblown, some of the things though, because I think he needs to be given credit for Maxey. He needs to be given credit for the culture change from the process with Brett Brown. It was not the same. Like the Sixers culture and organization completely shifted when Doc Rivers came in. And so that credit has to be given to Doc. So he built the Sixers as a winning team. It's just that once they got to a certain point, was Doc not good enough to coach in those fine margins during the playoffs? And that's where I go, I don't know if he could, because the rotations maybe aren't good enough. Play designs, especially coming out of inbounds passes, maybe not the best. So I thought that, you know what, if it keeps continuing that they can't get past a certain point, maybe you do look elsewhere to a different kind of coach. The culture is set, thanks to Doc. Now you just need maybe a guy who's better at the X's and O's. Credit to Doc, though. He has been flourishing in that.
But hey, I mean, if they beat Boston and they go to the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time in 23 years, you can't fire your coach.
No, now you can't.
No.
Oh, no. If they win the series now,
no.
You've gotten, and look, it's not good enough if they just get to the Eastern Conference Finals, but now it's not Doc's problem.
Yeah.
Doc is outcoached. I don't know if Joe Mazzulla is a good coach.
He's not.
But outcoached enough that they were able to beat a Boston team that they haven't been able to beat, and that really is a mismatch for them. And I think he should be given credit for that. And you at least see a progression with the reason why you would move on is because you're not seeing anything change.
The same results.
You're seeing the same result, the same reason. But the thing is, the second round losses were always the same reasons why. Like it was, the rotations weren't good enough. They every time a B would come off the floor, that they would not have an answer for that. And in part, that's personnel. In part, that's Doc and putting him off the floor too long, or not having the right rotations, not having Joel Embiid in at the right times. He would take him out at times. He would go, why are you taking him out now at this point in the game, letting a team come back into it? So I think you could criticize Doc for that. And that's the reason why you would move on, because it's the same thing every time, but it's changed this time around. I even think his rotations now maybe aren't the best, but the personnel's better, so it's not as big of a problem.
And I mean, he's had guys in the past that
terrible.
I would laugh if they would ever step on an NBA.
I still
playoff
laugh
court.
at some of the guys from the Sixers that step on an NBA court.
Oh my god,
George Niang steps on an NBA court in the playoffs. Come on. It was fun. You know what?
Hit a few big
I say that, but it
tonight.
was really funny when Boston brought out Peyton Pritchard. I'm like, oh, is that their George Niang?
Once they brought him in, I was like, all right, this is the white flag. We're
white
done.
flag.
We're done here.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, I credit to Doc. And I think, a lot of things change. So look, I don't want to go too far ahead because Game 6 they still have to win. And if they lose Game 6, they still have to win Game 7. That's not a guarantee that they, lose one, win the other. It's not a guarantee. But what I saw in Game 5 was certainly a step forward. And if they do end up winning this series and they were able to do something they haven't done in a very long time, since 2001 or something like that. That means to me that this team, it's not just they got lucky. It's not that Boston was bad.
No.
That means they improved. They have improved enough to a point of they are better than Boston. That tells me that Maxey has improved, that Tobias Harris even has improved, that this lineup together has gotten so good that they are better than not only previous versions of the Sixers, they were better than Boston. I do think so, because you mentioned, obviously if Doc Rivers is able to get the Sixers past the second round, that he's going to stay. And I get that. But there's got to be at least another, this is the team. This does feel like this spot that they're in, the improvements that we've seen this season, and especially from players like Tyrese Maxey, and the fact that Harden and Embiid are healthy, this is, to me, the best shot they are going to have of winning an NBA title with Embiid. So getting past the second round is not good enough. You're going to have the Heat in the Eastern Conference Final. You got to beat the Heat. Then in the Western Conference, what's there to tell me that, Denver is a well-rounded team. Lakers sort of are as well, but what's to tell me the Sixers aren't better than both of those teams? The Sixers have beaten at least Denver. Yeah. They beat Denver when Jokic and Embiid were on the floor, and Embiid clowned Jokic in a game in Philadelphia.
And I
think this lineup, the way that they've played and what they would have accomplished, and the team that they would have beat coming out of round number 2 tells me that they have broken through so many barriers that this team is ready to not just get to the Eastern Conference Final, they're ready to win the whole damn thing. This is the team to do that.
And I think that we've said so many times, and I've said it, that I still think maybe Boston's not the best team left, but I still think that they're the worst matchup left for the Sixers. And
by far the worst matchup.
By far. And I think, obviously, if you get down to...
Because Denver's not. I think you would point at Denver being Denver.
And see, I think the Lakers are probably a worse matchup for Embiid than Denver
for Embiid.
is.
For Embiid, for sure. Because Anthony Davis is a great,
and
good enough athlete, physical
great.
Enough, and he's been great. Hopefully he's good, because that concussion was kind of worrying.
Yeah.
And they were saying his agent was even in the tunnel, talking. So it was kind of concerning. And I didn't like how everybody was, Anthony Davis is hurt again, going off in a wheelchair. Yeah. Wait, this guy might legit just be really hurt. Can we talk about that for a second? Let's at least make sure the guy's okay before we start telling jokes about it. But I think Anthony Davis, his athleticism, the fact that he can be physical, and LeBron James, of course, he's 6'9", great on defense, and he would give Embiid even some fits as well. Because I think what they would do is probably have James on Tucker and have James kind of float around a bit. Because when you're guarding Tucker, you can cheat a little bit.
Yeah,
because all Tucker's going to do is sit on the wing,
playing one-on-one straight man defense the whole game on PJ
and he's going to
Tucker.
shoot 3 or 4 threes, and he's going to miss pretty much all of them, maybe except one.
He's going to hit one.
So you leave him. He's going to hit one today.
Just one. You want to know why? Because everyone's going to look at his over 3.5, and it is truly the perfect line for PJ Tucker, because whenever he scores, he makes 1 3.
Yes, it's only going to be 3.
His over/under is set at 3.5
gets a put back on a
game.
rebound.
Yeah,
but that doesn't happen too often because he grabs rebounds, but not that often. But yeah, it's threes. What is his 3-point prop? Did you say you had that?
His points total is at 3.5. So they know, right? They know exactly.
But you're
PJ
right.
Tucker is at over 0.5, is at minus 180. So they are favoring.
Jeez.
They are favoring one tonight.
Yeah, no, thank you. But so back to that point, Lakers would be a problem. I don't know if Denver would be. Denver's
because Jokic can't guard Embiid.
And the backcourt for Denver. I love Jamal Murray. He's not the best defender.
No,
so I feel like
Denver's a great
kind of
offensive team, but I think the Sixers match up on offense great with Denver.
I think the Sixers can score against them.
Yeah, because I think Harden can take Murray right to the rack every time. Obviously, if he chooses to. And I think Jokic can't guard Embiid. We've seen that, and he's not a good defender in general. And then you go have Joel Embiid up against him for 5-6
Yeah, it would be
games.
his Embiid's fitness would be tested there a lot because we know Jokic is going to handle the ball and he's really the kind of point forward of that team. But yeah, I think he does well enough that he would be able to in a way.
That's really what it's going to come down to, huh?
Because Jokic right now against Phoenix is doing whatever he wants because Phoenix doesn't have anybody. The Sixers, I think, match up against Denver because Embiid is an athlete. Embiid's a great athlete. And if he's just going to have to protect the rim, because it's not like Jokic goes too far out into the perimeter. He's kind of like in that almost at the free throw line.
14 to 18 foot range.
And so Embiid doesn't really have to move around that much to defend him. So I think it's a good matchup for them. But to your credit, we could talk about which one is a tougher matchup between the Lakers or Denver. All I know is Boston was tougher. Boston was the matchup that was always the worst one because they have guard depth. They're great defensively. They're a smart basketball team, we thought, and it's looking like they may not be. But everything, and obviously Al Horford, I hate Al Horford. Hate him. I think he's such a fake tough guy and like weird. He's a weird dude. Like the shimmy he did.
Okay. Well, I mean, everyone knows that the series changed the second that he did the shimmy.
Yeah, he's just an awkward human being because the big one that stands out is when they were in the bubble and he had that dunk and he just started screaming and everybody went, okay.
Such a weirdo. Like,
very odd dude.
I can't.
But it ends up that he talks. I love it. We talked a lot of trash. I'm a great shooter, and he goes like 0 for 7 from 3. Very good shooter.
What a loser.
Yeah. But Al Horford is at least enough size that there's not many guys that can guard Embiid. There's not any guys that can really guard Embiid in this league. But at least Horford has the size and can move well enough that he does
and
win
we know
at times
that,
against Embiid.
We know that Horford, and I'll even say Horford, I would say Horford leans to have the advantage on Embiid at a higher percentage than he doesn't.
There
Obviously,
are not
the
many
other
that
night
have
was the
guarded him
complete
as
opposite.
well. Yeah, as well as
But
Al Horford has.
he's had some really great games against Embiid in the past.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. I mean, a guy that's been able to defend Embiid, guards that have defend well and that have great success, like Jaylen Brown and wings
Smart,
like Jason Tatum and Marcus Smart's a great defender. It is very tough for the Sixers to be able to beat Boston because of that defense and the way that they do have that matchup. And again, if they move on, that just to me shows growth that I've never seen from the Sixers before. I've not seen that. So I would be impressed enough if they're able to finish this tonight that this may be the best. This could be the best starting lineup remaining in the NBA.
They have to finish this tonight.
I think they have to.
They have to. If they go back to Boston, they're going to lose.
Well, for my health, I would like them to win.
Yeah, that's.
I mean, is that so? What is it? Is that nervousness or is that no trust in the Sixers in a Game 7 in that spotlight?
I think it's more on. I think the Celtics would have. I just think the Celtics would.
You keep the Celtics in it long. You keep them around long enough. Yeah, they're going to eventually figure it
exactly.
out.
And that's exactly what happened last year with Milwaukee. They were down 3-2 to
Right,
Milwaukee.
I think that's a better point because a lot of it does come back to the Sixers last time in a Game 7 did not do well. Actually, they've been in multiple Game 7s and didn't win those games. So that's
both
not
on Mother's Day.
Yeah,
I can't.
Not
man.
great.
I can't.
So yeah,
Mother's
those obviously previous losses play into this. I think the biggest issue would be that the Sixers going against Boston's eventually going to win that game. Like Game 5 they were able to. Game 7 they're eventually going to win that game. You have to take a team like Boston out now.
And listen,
not let Boston hang around.
And if they come into the Wells Fargo and they steal a close game tonight, they have legitimately all of the momentum going back home to Boston.
Yeah,
I think the Sixers know. Obviously, they have to know that they do not want this to go back to Boston.
Yeah, they seem to understand these moments better. They understood Game 5 was huge, right? I feel like that was. And Harden.
It's an 80% clip. If you win,
man, that's 80%.
Yeah, they trust me, they had it about 35 times the other night on the broadcast. If you win a Game 5 when it's a knotted up series, you win around an 80% clip. So I'll
take those odds. We're all about odds here on the Gambler, by the way. Those
are.
odds, I'll take those odds any day. Speaking of odds, it's not just Sixers tonight. We have plenty of other games. We have Denver Phoenix tonight. That could also be a closeout. And I think it might be.
It was announced that Ayton is not playing tonight. So he will not be in the lineup for the Suns.
So the Sixers could be moving on. Does Denver move on? We'll talk about that game. Also, Major League Baseball with Luke Arcaini coming up next here on the Daily Ticket.
Fox Sports Radio, The Gambler. Now, total traffic for Philadelphia.
Heads up, we've had a crash in White Marsh Township, Ridge Pike at Gowan Lane. Traffic's being directed around the scene. It's still jammed up on 95 northbound approaching across Girard Point Bridge to the Walt Whitman with a crash in the left lane. Then stop and go Girard up the bridge. South of 95 at Academy to Bridge. Penn's Landing to Broad Street. Ridley Park to the Blue Route. Blue Route southbound delays Broomall Media Swarthmore. North on 95 past McDade. Schuylkill eastbound heavy Blue Route to Belmont and jam Montgomery Drive to South. Westbound Jan University to Girard and Boulevard to Belmont. All right, to tell total traffic.
This report is sponsored by DBH IDS.
When someone gets hurt, we know who to call. But what about a mental health crisis? The 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline offers free, confidential support around the clock. Don't hesitate. Call 988. It's okay to not be okay. Remember, 988.
Hey guys, this is Keenan Thompson. I have a problem with you. Yes, you. None of y'all told me that AutoTrader has millions of new and used cars that I can shop from home. I thought we were friends. I put smiles on your face, but I'm not smiling. No one told me that with AutoTrader, a dealer can deliver cars to my home or that I could shop by price on AutoTrader. No one. Consider this friendship that you just learned we had officially over. Finally, it's easy. AutoTrader.
You don't need to get personal, like revealing orange juice commercials make you cry, to get the State Farm personal price plan. Just call or go to statefarm.com for a quote. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Prices vary by state. Options selected by customer. Availability and eligibility may vary.
Stay tuned to Fox PHL The Gambler for the latest CEOs you should know.
My name is Roy Lightstein. I'm the CEO and president of Legacy Treatment Services.
Every day in business is a big day. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Are you hungry for the inside scoop of women's soccer? I'm Sam Mewis. And I'm Lynn Williams. And we're professional soccer players, best friends, and the hosts of Snacks, the only women's soccer podcast hosted by active players that gets into the most recent news, gossip, and fun of the NWSL, the women's national team, and the delightful, delicious world of snacks. It's a weekly show that features great guests from the world of women's soccer, recaps and previews of the biggest matches, and the two of us hanging out with you. You can listen to Snacks on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Rita's Cold Brew Frozen Coffee is here, and we're freezing up the flavor for your next coffee fix. Sink your straw into the perfect pick-me-up. But hurry, frozen coffee is at Rita's for a limited time. Try it before it's gone.
Be cool, eat your Ritas. 1 in 4 car batteries is weak and needs to be replaced. Let our professional parts people test your battery for free at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Martin Hoke, the inventor of Navage Nasal Care, and I love Navage. I've told you about how your nose is the body's air filter, that Navage's powered suction will help flush out allergens, viruses, mucus, and germs, and that Navage will help you breathe better. But what do other people say about Navage? Like Ricardo, quote, "This is one of the greatest inventions ever. I know this may sound like I'm exaggerating, but this sucker is amazing. The first time I did it, I couldn't believe what came out of my sinuses. I could breathe with ease. My wife just bought one too. Thank you for this product," unquote. He's one of over 100,000 online reviews praising Navage, the all-natural solution trusted by over 3 million people to help you breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier without drugs. Navage is available at Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, Target, Rite Aid, and online. Navage, Navage, clean nose, healthy life.
Hey man, you all right? Need me to call 911? No, call Top Dog Law. Get top dollar for your accident at topdoglaw.com. Once again, that's topdoglaw.com.
You gotta keep them separated.
Do you know who this band is? Look at them.
Off the top of my head. If you say it out loud, I'll probably know. I'm sorry.
I always question myself because I say this. I know the band. It's The Offspring. But I always like to do this because you're almost the same age as my nephew. And I asked, this is just a simple, great song by The Offspring. And it feels like common knowledge that you would know this, but you're so young that you have no idea this. Jeez. All right, Daily Ticket, Fox Sports The Gambler. We do have another Game 6 in the NBA tonight between Denver and Phoenix. Before we get to that, though, baseball, and the Phillies did come away with a win yesterday. It was ugly. It was terrible. I don't ever want to see a game one like that again. Just win a game normally, please, Phillies. That would be nice. They can't do that.
You know that.
But the Phillies do end up winning. Are Zach Wheeler and Aaron Nola, have we seen enough? Are they back? Are they themselves again? What have you seen from them lately to kind of anticipate what they are moving forward?
I wouldn't say fully back. I would say they are trending in the right direction, and I think they're starting to show more consistency and length in their starts, which I think is a big thing.
Length
that they
was
weren't
a big
showing
one,
early.
They need
Obviously,
that.
Wheeler's longest start of the day yesterday. He went 7 innings, allowing just 1 earned run, which was definitely his best start of the season so far. I wouldn't say back yet necessarily.
Why is that?
I think we said
I think some of their stuff isn't completely there yet.
Because I think we said back after Nola had that outing in Houston, and then he got messed up in LA.
And his velocity was down, wasn't it?
Pitched. Yeah, velocity was down. Wheeler's was too, and I think Wheeler's just starting to get back up there. He was a little higher up there yesterday than he's been. But obviously, I'm always a little worried more about velocity than I am stuff, because I think that's just a feel when it comes to your pitches and that type of stuff.
Now, is that just a Nola Wheeler thing? I feel like a lot of pitchers just weren't ready for this season.
No, they weren't. And it almost feels like it happens every year. And I think obviously there's this whole debate about people not liking spring training, but obviously we know how much the pitchers need it. And I honestly think maybe pitchers and catchers might need to start a little earlier. Like, I think these guys, and I know getting back into practice and getting back into a true regular season game,
they're afraid to throw pitchers because they don't want them worn down.
Exactly. And that's a whole nother reason why these guys, like none of them went over for the World Baseball Classic, is they're really trying to limit
funny
their
that
starts.
Zach Wheeler really didn't pitch in the beginning of the season because he was injured, and it was almost like a blessing in disguise because the Phillies were like, sure, fine, take 2 months to get ready because
that is also,
we're going to need you in September. And he was one of their best pitchers.
That's also why I'm a little more hopeful for Ranger. And I think Ranger
could have certainly used some time off. I know he went through a small injury last year. It wasn't out too long.
He threw the most innings he's thrown in a season by far last year.
And, he's just been throwing more innings than he ever has in his life. And so, him taking a break's not the worst thing in the world. The fact that Wheeler and Nola aren't ramped up 100% right now isn't the worst thing in the world. And if you're concerned about that, saying, oh, well, why aren't they ready to go? Look at everybody else. I mean, Justin Verlander and Max Scherzer have hardly pitched, and they've looked terrible. At least Scherzer has when he has pitched. Alek Manoah, the ace for the Blue Jays, apparently, he hasn't looked good. Kevin Gausman even has had good starts, but even he at times hasn't looked like Kevin Gausman. You can look around and see Garrett Cole's pitching great, and Shane McClanahan's pitching great. There are guys that are pitching extremely well, but there are, let's just say Aaron Nola and Zach Wheeler aren't the only ones. Like they aren't isolated as the only two who are aces struggling at the beginning of this season. Everybody has at least a pitcher or two. Dylan Cease looks horrible right now.
Yeah, really bad.
Terrible.
And he was my AL Cy Young pick, and he looks bad. But I think it's a different story if Wheeler and Nola have like 6 ERAs right now, and they're coming out giving up 6, 7, 8 runs a start.
Right.
But they're showing their stuff. They're starting to get longer in the games. And I think this time, maybe in 2 weeks, you'll be able to say they're officially back.
Yeah, I think so as well. I had to say official, but it is trending in such a good direction that I think we can just say Nola and Wheeler are going to be fine.
Yeah.
Let's get to some of the games today. Now, there are 2 games that are finished, 1 going on at the moment. LOL Mets. Mets have been terrible lately. Blake Lively. No, I'm just kidding. Is that Blake Lively? No, Ben Lively. That's right. I always see his name. I go, be Lively. Is it actually Blake? But no, Ben Lively gets the win. Kota Senga
rocked early.
Yeah, he got rocked in this game.
Mets have now fallen under us in the NL East.
Are the Mets
They're in
good?
4th.
Are the Mets any good?
I think they're really struggling. Their lineup has not been great.
Because it was always a guarantee. And look, it's not to say that the Phillies are in a better spot, but I can look at the Phillies and go, okay, well, the injuries, they're going to get better. Ranger Suarez isn't 40 years old, and I'm not worried about him.
Our injury,
and the lineup is great.
And our injuries are coming back, where the Mets are really just starting and continuing to happen.
So the Mets to me are I always didn't like how they were sort of penned in as the second best team in the NL East. I don't think this team is that good.
No.
What are they to you, the Mets?
I think they're a team that has enough firepower to win some games, but
certainly
I don't
a wild card spot. I think they're going to be fighting for that wild card spot.
Yeah, I do too. And I think they're going to have to fight because I think we're going to be in there, the Phillies. I think there's obviously teams that are going to be in those wild card hunts.
One of the
like
NL
there
West
was
teams
last year.
are certainly going to be San Diego, which San Diego is getting better. I can at least see San Diego trending upward right now, even though they lost the other game today, 5-3. But that was the Twins, and Twins are not that bad, especially at home. But yeah, the Mets, I have not liked anything I've seen from the Mets.
Think they're
even
just
when they were winning a lot, that was
right
very like fluky wins, some luck involved, which it's baseball. You're going to get luck, but a lot of close games that always felt like they could go the other direction. And now they're going in the other direction in a big way. And I have not liked what I've seen from the Mets at all. At least I can see flashes of the Phillies, right? I see flashes of a great lineup, and Bryce Harper's back and he's playing well. Nick Castellanos has been amazing. So I'm seeing flashes of this amazing lineup. I know I've seen at least some flashes of Wheeler and Nola, and it's not like they're hurt. They just need to get in a groove this season. And they are getting some help. And Alvarado's look great, even though he's hurt, even though I'm not too concerned about that one. It's just, I've always felt like the Phillies, while they are close to the Mets right now, it always felt like they were in a better spot than the Mets.
Yeah. I mean, the Mets have lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5
They've
series in a row.
Yeah.
So they've just been trending down. They could not beat the Braves. They got swept by the Detroit Tigers.
Swept by the Tigers. Well. Detroit's not.
They are, but
it's surprisingly, because I've been doing that too. Like, it was only Detroit, but then I have to keep with the caveat of they're actually not that bad right now.
Yeah, it's like when you talk about Pittsburgh.
It's
the Pirates, but Pittsburgh's in play. But they've been struggling with.
Yeah, they've been struggling big time.
Yeah,
they've only won one of their last 10 games.
Yeah, not good.
We knew that was going to happen at some point.
Yeah, they were going to come back down
though,
to
and
earth.
they're only because Milwaukee's only won 2 out of their last 10 games. They still have a half-game lead in that division,
and they're 1-9 in their last.
Yeah. So the one thing is I like the Cubs. Their lineup is inconsistent at times. It's their starting pitching though. They are top heavy with starting pitching because it's Stroman and Steele, and everybody else stinks.
Yeah. Bad.
So and Steele was great again against the Cardinals. I hate to say great, but he was still good enough again that they got the win. And the Cardinals are, I don't know, are the Cardinals just bad?
I don't really think anyone knows. I think they have gotten off to a really brutal start. I think their big stars have been really tough. Nolan Arenado has been really bad to start.
Yeah, he's been terrible this season.
I think they've been dealing with injuries. I don't think their rotation's been great. I just think they've kind of fallen into a very deep hole, and I think they'll get closer to the top of that hole over time throughout the season. I don't think they're a bad baseball team. I just think they just got off to a rough start.
I thought the Cardinals starting rotation was going to be okay. There was at least enough to like that you go, okay, pair it with that lineup, and they're going to be a great baseball team still. Cardinals, I thought, could still win 90 games with that lineup and the pitching staff that was
I had them pushing 100. And especially last year.
I don't know if I had it because the pitching, I at least have them. I had them as a team that I liked for winning the National League and winning their division easily, obviously. But the lineup was so good, it felt like the Phillies if you get a little bit of luck pitching, then you're going to be completely fine. Phillies wasn't, the lineup was great. They needed luck with their bullpen. Can their bullpen actually get it together for a season? And they could make a run. And they did. And everybody was, no, Philly still can't do it. But they did it anyway. I was going to, raise that same flag with the Cardinals of, okay, on paper, maybe their starting pitching isn't good or their bullpen isn't the best. But what if they get a little bit of luck and a guy is having a career year? They stay healthy like Jack Flaherty. Then that lineup's so good. That's a National League winning lineup.
Yeah, I mean, they don't have a single starter under a 4 ERA.
Their starters have been terrible.
Their 5 starters have a 4.1, a 5.4, a 6.18, a 5.7, and a 5.
I know Montgomery was their best starter coming into that game, and
he's the one with the best ERA. Yeah,
he got shelled yesterday by the Cubs. So I've been fading the Cardinals. I think the Cardinals are a great fade. Look at pitching matchups. Obviously, you want to look at pitching matchups, but especially with the Cardinals, if the Cardinals are going up against a team like the Cubs that can't hit, but the pitching matchup favors the Cubs because Justin Steele was obviously better than Jordan Montgomery, even though Jordan Montgomery's ERA was great.
Yeah.
Cardinals were favored in that game because, hey, it's a decent pitcher and, it's still St. Louis's offense. You can't look at it that way.
No.
St. Louis's offense hasn't been that good, and Justin Steele, could shut him down well enough. And Jordan Montgomery, doesn't matter what lineup any of these Cardinals pitchers are facing, they're going to get shelled.
Yeah.
And it's been a great betting opportunity. Also, I think one thing that also from yesterday that was really eye-opening was the Giants-Nationals game. And hear me out here because it's two teams that are like 16-20 right now. But Josiah Gray might be good. Sean Manaea might be out of the league soon.
Sean Manaea stinks. Stinks, man. And
terrible.
we are lucky enough to face him this upcoming series. I believe we get him on top of my head. I think it's Monday, the series opener. So that is a Sean Manaea Bailey Falter matchup. So
I can't believe I'm going to say this.
Where's the over under?
Much better pitcher.
Where's the
over under? Falter's not Manaea bad.
No. But I mean, I wouldn't say it's the Phillies ace going out there versus the Giants ace.
The Nationals are a team I thought would be an easy fade betting wise. I've actually bet on them the last two games. Yeah. The one game I don't think it worked out in my favor. I had them on a run line and they ended up losing by a couple runs to San Francisco. I had them on the money line yesterday, plus 135, and it would be looked at as crazy. You're betting a money line on Josiah Gray. Patrick Corbin's not doing that bad. Josiah Gray is an ERA of 2.96 at the moment. So the Nationals seem to me like a good betting team. Real quick, before we go to break, there are 3 games today. Rays taking on the Yankees. Rays a minus 120 favorite. Giants a minus 145 favorite against the Diamondbacks. Rangers Athletics. Rangers big time favorite, minus 267. I think Oakland is a pitcher who's making his debut, or he's pitched in the majors just for a couple of years. Yep. Actually hasn't pitched in the majors since 2018. And so the Rangers minus 267 heavy favorite. Any bet you'd like for today? Those 3 games.
I think I like the Giants. I think he's been throwing really good this year.
Cobb has been great.
Alex Cobb. He's been no doubt their best starter. So I would definitely lean the Giants tonight at minus 140. I think it's kind of hard to not obviously have the Rays right now in the back of your head. So I would look at them at the minus 110 as well. I mean, I think obviously the Rangers are a pretty easy bet. I think you can look at the minus 1.5. Even that's in the minus still too. So I don't really think that game has some crazy value on it. But if you obviously had to choose a side, you should be going with the Rangers.
Yeah, the tough part about the Rays and Yankees game, because I want it to be all over Tampa Bay, because it's minus 120. Drew Rasmussen's one of their best pitchers, and Domingo Germán, he's not as good as Rasmussen. And so you get the best team in baseball at a short money line with the better pitching matchup. That seems easy, but these two guys actually faced, their last matchup was against each other. Domingo Germán won that, but Domingo Germán's ERA to me is kind of misleading.
A little inflated for sure.
Because of there were a few bad starts.
Yeah, I mean,
so 6 earned against the
Twins, yeah.
4 earned against Toronto, and his first start in the season, he gave up 4 earned in 4 2/3 innings against the Phillies.
I mean, other than that, it's been 1-1, 1-2.
So yeah, there's been more good starts than bad, and he is not giving up very many base runners. His problem is he gives up a ton of home runs. And Tampa Bay, if I'm not mistaken, is still leading the league in home runs.
Yes. By a
wide margin. Because they started off like the first almost 20 games hitting a home run. So that's that Tampa Bay, if they are continuing to hit home runs like that, which I think they fizzled down a little bit.
Yeah, they're leading by 11 still.
So I would say that's the red flag with Germán, but he didn't give up a home run in his last start. And in the games that he hasn't given up, I know this sounds simple. You don't let up home runs. You're obviously not going to let up many runs, but there are guys that certainly don't give up the long ball, but get still shelled. He's not giving up many hits. The hits he's giving up are home runs. The 3 home runs that he gave up were on 5 hits against Minnesota. So his big problem is the long ball. If you can trust him not to give up the long ball in this game, I think Germán's a pretty good bet with the Yankees now healthy that he might be able to keep them in this game again. All that to say, the total is 8.5. I think I might like the under.
So do I. Yeah.
Because I think Germán's going to throw well enough that the Rays aren't going to score a lot of runs. This screams another 3-2 game, which it was last time. But the 4.35 ERA is misleading. Rasmussen, I know the 3.11 is better. Herman's pitching, I think, just as well. Just a few bad games, a long ball problem. But that doesn't always happen. Long ball, home runs are hard to hit. Not everybody hits them, okay? They're still really hard to come by, and it's not going to happen every game. If you're going to play the law of averages, maybe Herman does give up a few home runs because he hasn't in the last 2 games, but I think he can pitch well enough. I like the under 8.5 in that game, mostly, and I'm going to stay away from the Rays money line just because of that. All right, coming up next, we're going to have Mark Henry Jr. join us. We'll go over Sixers Game 6. We didn't talk about Phoenix, Denver. I wanted to save that for Mark. Does he think both teams, Denver and the Sixers, clinch tonight in the NBA playoffs and move on to their conference finals? We'll ask Mark Henry Jr. that coming up next here on the Daily Ticket.
It's the Daily Ticket with Sean Brace.
Gambler Hotline, Mark Henry Jr. You hear him Saturdays right here on the Gambler from 11 to 1.
I came on this show. LeBron came back into the lineup, and the Lakers have been playing really well without him. And I said, folks, I'm not saying the Lakers are going to win the West, but Lakers plus 1,700 is worth the ticket. And Sean Brace told me that the sportsbook thanks me for my donation. And I'm feeling pretty darn good about LeBron winning the West.
Wow.
I really, really feel good about the Lakers being the best and the most complete team in the Western Conference. And it's not like this is some news-breaking, come lately thing. They've been the best since the All-Star break. They were the best in the post-All-Star break in the regular season, and that was over half of which the games that they were missing LeBron James.
If you can wager on it, we're talking about it right here on The Gambler.
My station, baby.
This is your Thursday Sports Minute, brought to you by BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks.
2 NBA playoff games tonight in the East. Game 6, Celtics 76ers. Philly has that 3-2 series lead after a big win in Boston. They can close it out at home tonight. Celtics, though, 1.5-point road favorites. Home dogs for Philly. The over-under is 212.5. Now, West, Game 6, Nuggets-Suns, same deal. Nuggets can close it out, 3-2 series lead. Series, though, shifts back to Phoenix. Suns are 3.5-point home favorites. Over-under, 226.5. Individual prop, Nikola Jokic averaging 35 and 13 in the series. And his prop for tonight, 29.5 points and 13.5 rebounds. 2 NBA playoff games tonight. Lots of ways for you to get in on the action.
BetMGM is the king of sportsbooks. Download the app today and use code MINUTE. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to have fun and play responsibly. BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. 21 plus to wager. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Jake from State Farm here to answer your what ifs.
What if I need a policy, but I just can't choose?
An agent can help you choose. At State Farm, we're there for your what ifs. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Call or go to statefarm.com for a quote today.
CEOs you should know, brought to you by Comcast Business.
Roy Lightstein, CEO and president of Legacy Treatment Services. Legacy Treatment Services' mission is to change the behavioral health and social service outcomes for people of all ages from surviving to thrive. Legacy Treatment Services provides an array of more than 70 different programs and services to help individuals that have challenges with regard to mental health, addiction treatment, or perhaps that have an intellectual and developmental disability. Individuals in this field often have a calling. When I was growing up, I was the victim of abuse and neglect. I joined the Army and started my career in social services volunteering. I became very close with the young man that I was working with. Nonverbal, had a brain dysfunction. And so I had this sort of aha moment at that time that said, if I could help kids that maybe were struggling or had any challenges like I had, I wanted to commit my career towards helping that. The advice that I would give myself at age 15 is perspective. The sun comes up, the sun goes down, and when we're in those moments, stressing about your grade, your social relationship, I just wish I could look back to me at 15 and say, this is just today, and you can have a significant impact on what tomorrow's going to look like. We invite folks to just head to our website, legacytreatment.org, and you can reach somebody at any time of the day or night.
This episode is brought to you by Comcast Business. Every day in business is a big day. Comcast Business will keep you ready for what's next. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Discover credit cards automatically double all the cash back you earn at the end of your first year, which means, wait, hold up. Question for the audio engineer.
Go ahead.
Did I read that right? Discover automatically doubles all your cash back?
Yeah.
that's what the script says.
So if I get a Discover card right now, I can earn twice the cash back.
Apparently. Wait! Unlimited first-year cash back match, only from Discover. See terms and learn more at discover.com/match.
Kickstart your imagination with Audible. Hear celebrity and music memoirs, mysteries, true crime, and more. Audible is the home of storytelling. Audiobooks, podcasts, and originals. Sign up for a free trial at audible.com.
I'm 6 ABC Action News meteorologist Brittany Boyer with your latest forecast. It's been a very warm day today, and we keep temperatures on the mild side tonight. The low is 60 in Philadelphia under mostly clear skies. Heading into the end of the work week, Friday, we start off with sunshine, a few more clouds by the afternoon, a high of 85, and then we will be looking at some rain as we head into the start of the weekend on Saturday.
This report is sponsored by Taco Bell. OMG. Hot and crisp nacho fries are back at Taco Bell, but they won't be here forever. Yeah, hot and crisp fries covered in bold Mexican spices with a side of nacho cheese sauce are only here for a limited time at participating U.S. Taco Bell locations for a limited time only while supplies last.
Dan Patrick, 9 to noon.
Brett Brown joins us.
Colin Cowherd from noon to 3.
The Sixers are amazing.
And the Daily Ticket with Sean Brace from 3 to 6 p.m. Only one place you can find that.
All ears to it.
Right here on Fox Sports Radio, The Gambler. Fox Sports Radio, The Gambler. Now, total traffic for Philadelphia.
Things are pretty busy on the major roadways for Jansen and Blue Route southbound St. David's Media Wild for northbound heavy 95 to Route 1 and Jeff from the Schuylkill up to the Turnpike. 95 northbound Jeff from the airport past Broad Street from an earlier crash. Then stopping go Vine Expressway to Bridge and heavy Academy to Woodhaven with an accident on the shoulder. Southbound 95 Jan Street Road to Academy. Penn's Landing to Broad Street and south of the Blue Route to the state line. Schuylkill eastbound heavy Blue Route to Belmont and Jam Montgomery Drive to south. Large total traffic.
This report is sponsored by Wendy's Biggie Bag. When you think Wendy's Biggie Bag, think your go-to meal deal with your choice of JBC, double stack or crispy chicken sandwich, plus 4-piece nugs, junior fries, and a small soft drink. Biggie hits every time. So grab a Biggie Bag today. U.S. price and participation may vary. Third-party delivery pricing may be higher.
I'm Martin Hoke, the inventor of Navage nasal care, and I love Navage. I've told you about how your nose is the body's air filter, that Navage's powered suction will help flush out allergens, viruses, mucus, and germs, and that Navage will help you breathe better. But what do other people say about Navage? Like Tara, quote, "My doctor wanted me to do saline rinses for my allergies, but I've never been able to successfully use a neti pot. Navage uses suction power, so it's foolproof. There are nights when I'll have particularly bothersome allergies. I'll bust it out, and the results are immediate. It's such a relief. It's become a lifesaver," unquote. She's one of over 100,000 online reviews praising Navage, the all-natural solution trusted by over 3 million people to help you breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier without drugs. Navage is available at Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, Target, Rite Aid, and online. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E, clean nose, healthy life.
In this week's Marketers Report, Patrizio Spagnoletto, Global Chief Marketing Officer, Direct-to-Consumer for Warner Brothers Discovery, weighs in on building trust.
Trust is a really hard thing to build and a really easy thing to destroy, and we have to be very respectful about that. Our partnership with iHeart has really helped us build that trust and that relationship with the on-air talent.
As the #1 audio company, iHeartMedia gives marketers access to the audiences, trusted influencers, and data you need to grow. If you're a marketer, go to iHeartResults.com.
Discover credit cards automatically double all the cash back you earn at the end of your first year, which means, wait, hold up. Question for the audio engineer.
Go ahead.
Did I read that right? Discover automatically doubles all your cash back?
Yeah, that's what the script says.
So if I get a Discover card right now, I can earn twice the cash back.
Apparently. Wait! Unlimited first-year cash back match, only from Discover. See terms and learn more at discover.com/match.
Heart failure, carpal tunnel syndrome, shortness of breath, stomach issues, lower back pain. How does it all add up? If you have heart failure and any of those seemingly unrelated symptoms sound familiar, it's time to talk with your cardiologist and get the full picture. They may add up to transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy. ATTR-CM is a rare and underdiagnosed disease. Recognize the signs and discuss them with your doctor soon. Learn more at connectwithyourheart.com. That's connectwithyourheart.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Hear new music first on your free iHeartRadio app.
Hey y'all, this is Måneskin.
Hey, what's up? This is Fall Out Boy.
What's up? This is Mark Hoppus from Blink-182.
It's iHeartRadio. The free iHeartRadio app is where the biggest stars in the world connect with you. Download it today.
Your home for Villanova basketball is WDAS and WD27 3D. Fox Sports Radio Philadelphia.
All right, it's a power hour here on the Daily Ticket. It's you know what it is? You know what it really is? It's a vibe check hour.
There it is. Yeah. Wow.
We're a couple hours away.
No doubt about it.
I want to check the vibes going on here in Philadelphia. And the vibe in this studio and on the Gambler Hotline, joining us right now is Mark Henry Jr. You can follow him at Mark Henry Jr. _ on Twitter. And Mark, how's the vibe with you? How you doing?
Nervous, pal.
You sound it.
I said it on Twitter, and this is just making it about me, like I like to do. But the Sixers are, or at least right now, over the last 10 years, the Sixers are my number one team. Like, I don't think that that's very common. I think most people are Eagles people, to be honest. And then there's probably a larger percent of people who are Phillies people over Sixers people. And that's definitely who I was growing up.
Me.
But
Me as well.
And by the way, the Phillies are second. The Phillies are second. The Eagles are actually third for me. So a lot of people.
Yeah, Mark. Let's go.
I think
Let's go.
I think that would surprise. I think that would surprise a lot of people. I care about the NFL as a whole more than I care about the other sports
You
as a
know what?
whole.
I'm the same way because I think I care more about the NFL than the Eagles. Like, I just
In
love
terms of
football.
what-
I just love football. You know?
Yeah. And it's the easiest sport to follow.
And you're gonna watch
exactly.
You're gonna watch NFL
By
Red Zone
far.
for 8 hours. Like, no matter who's
Exactly.
playing.
Like, that's what I'd rather do. Every time the Eagles come on, I'm like, man, I got to go away from Red Zone.
Yeah. And my friend who hates football always says, like, oh, the NBA is actually better.
No, it's not.
Series and football is actually for casuals who only have to watch it 17 times. And I'm like, hey, man, it's fun. Like, it's a good product. But anyway,
Try watching 162.
We're about to have a schedule release, and it's the biggest. Forget NBA playoffs. The biggest thing happening tonight is the NFL releasing, not just releasing their schedule, just telling you what times they are.
It'll probably be the most watched thing, or at least it'll compete with Sixers Celtics. But to me, I'm not the biggest schedule release guy.
I hate it. I absolutely hate it. I'm just saying, to most people, the NFL schedule is the biggest thing happening tonight. That's how ridiculous the NFL is.
It's up there. It's definitely up there. But getting back to what I was saying, though, the Sixers are my number one team, and it's because of the process. It's because of Sam Hinkie. It's because of Joel Embiid. It's because of the 4 years that we spent arguing with boomers and arguing with people who couldn't see the forest from the trees, that were upset that we traded Drew Holiday and Evan Turner and Andre Iguodala and Michael Carter-Williams. It just feels like the process is on trial right now. And if we lose this series, that's probably the end of the process. James Harden will probably leave. Half of the bench are all expiring. Joel Embiid, we know how the NBA works. If you're a star player who can't win a title somewhere, you probably get out within a year or two. So I just think there's so much finality right now with the Sixers, where if they can't do this, it's probably not going to happen. This is the one last chance. Like, this is the chance that you can go and flip the script. If you're Doc Rivers, you can go from every time that they show the worst blown leads and these coaches with terrible winning percentages, you can flip the script and become a coach who won 2 titles with 2 storied franchises after beating your former franchise to get there. If you're James Harden, you go from being this guy who's unfairly labeled as a loser, in my opinion. Everyone lost to the Golden State Warriors for that stretch of time that he was probably the best player in the world for. I think he's been unfairly labeled as a choke artist and as a loser. He can go and flip the script if he just wins tonight and makes you the title favorite going forward. There's so many people who can change the legacy, but most of all, it's obviously Joel Embiid. And what this means to Joel Embiid and his all-time standing as an NBA player, and what this means about the process and vindicating the process for all the people in Philly and outside of Philly who were against it tooth and nail at the time and hated it and hated everything about it, and all year told everybody, why even buy in? We've seen the last couple years. There's no reason to care about this Sixers team. They're just going to let you down. It would feel unbelievable to slay the dragon that has been the Boston Celtics to get to where we haven't been in 23 years. And I know that people are going to hesitate when I call this the biggest Sixers game of my life. But what I'm going to tell you is in 2001, when they made it to the NBA Finals, they were nowhere close to the title favorite. They were going against the Shaq and Kobe Lakers, who were reigning champions, who were massive, massive favorites. Even after the Sixers won in Game 1, the Lakers were favored to win the title. This is bigger because the path is so clear and because the finality of it is so immediate. Whereas people are going to call me crazy. This means more to me. This second round Game 6 means more to me than the Super Bowl did. It means more to me than the World Series did, because with the Super Bowl, you had to look at it and say, oh, we have Jalen Hurts. He's 25 years old. We're probably going to be back here, or maybe we think we're going to be back here. Sirianni's young. We have all these pieces. The draft the last couple of years has been so good. With the Phillies, we know now that John Middleton's going to be a top 5 payroll spending team in baseball. We are going to use all the resources. It seems like we've fixed a lot of the things that are wrong in the farm system. Last year, when they lost the World Series, no part of me went, oh, well, we may never even make the playoffs again. This era's over. The era was just beginning. This is so important tonight, and I'm trying to convey that to people, how important tonight is, that our casual Sixers fans are just checking in for the playoffs. This is the culmination of a decade for me.
You sound like the SEC. It just means more,
It just does. This is not just a basketball game or a basketball series. Like I said, the process is on trial 10 years later after Stan Hinkie was hired. The process is on trial.
Is it on trial just in this game? Wouldn't you? I guess to be in this, right? I guess that's my point. Is that to even be in this position against the Boston team? It's not like the Sixers have been a bad basketball team and are barely getting by. They've been one of the best teams in the league. They just couldn't get past the other, one or two best teams in the league. Obviously, there are some things like the Hawks that have gotten in the way, and they should have, obviously beat the Hawks and some issues. But just to even be in this spot, I think already is a win for the process.
The whole point of the process was to get a superstar, because the only way you can win a championship is if you have a superstar. In my opinion, the process worked because they got Joel Embiid. But in the idiotic opinions of people who are anti-process, who are just going to continue to move the goalposts to what would define a success of that, I really, really want at least a conference finals berth, which would be the first in this franchise in 23 years. That's a start. And I mean, it wouldn't stop. If the Sixers beat the Celtics, it looks like there's, an oncoming train that is a former Sixer who it would mean just as. There's been no culmination. There's been no celebration. It's been a decade. It's just been too long for us to not at least have a sigh of relief that says it wasn't a total waste of time to invest the last decade. And even just if you want to be a little bit more immediate, the last 2 games. I think that there is a lot of people out there like me who thought that this year was different and felt that this year was different. And after Game 3, it felt like this was Charlie Brown and the Sixers were pulling the football. If after Game 3, let's say I'm Charlie Brown and the Sixers are Lucy and the football is my well-being, they pulled that away after Game 3, and I was able to pick myself back up. I was able to get back into place, and I'm approaching the football again. I'm running at it full on. There's no hesitation. They better not pull the football again. I can't handle another trip and not being able to kick that football. I don't know how else to analogize it.
So for your health, I'm going to say that the Sixers do win tonight. My question to you is, how would that happen? How do they win this game? Is this another Maxey Harris game? Is this all on the shoulders of Joel Embiid or James Harden? How do the Sixers, if they win this game, how do they win it?
I think I'll break it down in a couple ways, but I don't think we're ever going to see a performance like we saw in Game 5, or at least not against the Boston Celtics, because everyone showed up. I don't think that there's been a Sixers playoff game of the Embiid era that every single player who logged minutes was as impactful as they were in Game 5. Every single player was plus in the plus minus. It seemed like everyone made an impact, and I just don't think you can expect that. I mean, we've seen plenty of playoff games where the team that wins has 2 or 3 players that played well, and that's all that it is. And I also, at this point, I think what we see from a standpoint, somewhere in the vicinity of 30 to 35 points, somewhere in the vicinity of 8 to 15 rebounds and a couple blocks. I think that's probably what you're going to get. Like, I don't think he's going to be a 40-plus point per game scorer in the playoffs. And I also don't think we have to worry about him going back to the bad version of Joel Embiid in Game 3 of the Nets series. So I'm not as worried about Joel, and I'm also not as hopeful that he has a 50-point MVP performance. I'm looking straight at James Harden. I think this is a James Harden night. He only shot 8 times last game, and I think he was conserving energy. Once they were up big in that game, it really felt like he was willing to feed Joel and just exploit every mismatch possible and get the ball to open threes and get everyone involved. And he did a great job of that. He was fantastic in that game from a point guard perspective. But I think he conserved energy for it, and I think he's coming back in Game 6. I'm not saying he's going to have 45 again or 42 again, but I think he's going to be the guy who has to close it down for us offensively at the end. And I have hopes that he's going to do it. I feel a good Harden game in my bones. I saw he was his over-under 20.5 points wise. I like the over there. I think he's done it in 4 of the 9 games, but in those 4 games, he's went way over that. So I think he is averaging 22 in the playoffs. So I do think he goes over the 20.5. I like Harden tonight a lot. You could take the over on points and assists as well. I think that's something like 29.5 or something in that range. So I think Harden's the guy tonight. I think he's the most important player on the team tonight. But the X factor is Tyrese Maxey. Did we see Tyrese Maxey turn a corner last game? Because I think the entire city is hoping so, obviously. And it does seem like he figured a couple ways out to get downhill and to get off screens and to get free from the Celtics' length, and it seems like he's picked up when to release the ball. You don't have to wait until you're exactly at the rim, or maybe when you get to the rim, you have to be a little craftier, since Robert Williams seems to have had him figured out earlier on in the series. But I think Maxey did figure out a lot last game. So as a whole, I'm focusing on Maxey and Harden. Those are the big keys tonight for the game.
Talking with Mark Henry Jr. You can follow him at Mark Henry Jr. _ There is another game tonight between Denver and Phoenix. Is Denver going to be moving on to their conference final?
I don't think so. I'm going to take Phoenix. I'm not confident. I'm not betting this game, but I like Phoenix to win it. Slight favorite. DeAndre Ayton's out, but that doesn't matter to me anyway because he's the most overrated athlete on the planet. So it doesn't bother me. Chris Paul doesn't seem like I think he's out as well, but it doesn't seem like they've really missed him since he's been out. So Phoenix sends this to game. I mean, it's a shame. They got a matched up with a team with 2 good players and then 2 players that were hurt and not good enough when they were healthy. And then the rest of the team, you could argue if they're worthy to be in the NBA or not. So I'm still not sold on Denver whatsoever. But I don't think Phoenix is. So I don't.
So one other sport you bet a lot, baseball. You've been betting props. Any props for today? It's only a few games left, so I'm not sure if you have any.
I don't have any baseball props. So it's funny. So Game 4 for the Sixers, I tweeted out like I'm not gonna bet on any baseball or anything. Just focusing on the Sixers, and then they won. So I was like, all right, I'll take a little break. Sixers focus, and they haven't lost yet. So I'm laying off the gambles. And
wow.
I did say if the Sixers win tonight to advance, I'm gonna be betting for Friday, and obviously the Tucker Radio Show on Saturday. I'm gonna have a full slate of games. So I'll be back in tomorrow, no matter what, either way. But I was full Sixers focused in terms of Sixers Celtics.
All right, so I'll get it back to the Sixers again, and I think if the Sixers win this series and move on, they might be the best starting lineup and maybe team remaining. How would you rate the Sixers, rank the Sixers, I guess, compared to the Western Conference teams remaining and obviously the Heat? We think they're going to beat the Heat, You know, every time that series is talked about, whether it's Sixers or Celtics, those two teams are going to beat the Heat easily. So I guess how do you rank them against even the Western Conference teams? If the Sixers move on to the Eastern Conference Final, are they the best remaining team in the playoff?
Yeah, whoever wins this series should absolutely win the NBA Finals. They will have home court on the NBA Finals no matter what. These are the two best teams in the NBA that all year. I was never sold on Milwaukee, so I always had these two teams as the best two teams in the NBA. Basketball Reference, as recently as before Game 5, had the stat that the winner of this series was 55% likely to win the NBA championship, and the next highest team was the Nuggets at 12%. I think that's changed a bit with some of the series changes, but I think that it's very clear that these are the two best teams. These are the two teams that'll be playing at home. And especially for the Sixers, like in terms of the Celtics, you could make an argument maybe they don't match up well with X or Y. The team that the Sixers don't match up well with is the team they're up 3-2 on. It's the Celtics, because the Celtics have Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. The only other team, I said this all year, that scared me from a straight-on matchup perspective for the Sixers was the Clippers, because they had Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. Neither of them made it through a series, and they're out of the playoffs. So the only team that made any sense in terms of this team has stuff that the Sixers can't match was the Celtics, because of those wings and because Al Horford drags you out of the paint as a center and he shoots all those threes, and because they have three guards who are supposed to be really good defenders to throw at Maxey and Harden. The Celtics are, if you went to a lab and create a nightmare matchup for the Sixers, that's what they are. And we're up 3-2 on them. So to me, they shouldn't go 6 with any of these teams that are remaining. Like, they are way better than any of the other teams remaining. I don't even know if they're going to make it out of this series, and they're up 3-2. Like, there's a reason that it makes me nervous that they're underdogs tonight. Maybe it shouldn't, because they've been underdogs in every single game this series, including all 3 that they won, obviously. So it shouldn't make me nervous, but I cannot emphasize how much of a nightmare Boston is to deal with compared to these other teams. With Denver, you go 5 out against Denver, you have Joel Embiid. We saw what happened when they played in Philly. Joel Embiid will eat Nikola Jokic like barbecue chicken. Like, it's going to be a nightmare defensively for them. LeBron and AD, they show up for 4 or 5 games in a series, and it's enough against the teams they're playing. I don't think that'll be enough against Philadelphia. So, I just don't see any of these teams that are supposed to scare me. The team that scares me is the team I'm staring in the face at right now.
I love buffalo chicken more than barbecue chicken. So eat them up
sure.
like buffalo chicken.
For sure.
Yeah, I would change that.
I don't discriminate. I don't discriminate.
Okay. Barbecue chicken's fine. Too plain. It's like, okay, everybody has barbecue chicken.
You got to go Buffalo.
All right, Mark, thank you for joining me. I know you're nervous, so good luck for your health's sake. You know, try and take deep breaths, relax, and the Sixers are going to be moving on to the Eastern Conference Finals today. All right, Mark, I appreciate you coming on. Good luck.
Knock on all the wood.
All right, that is Mark Henry Jr. You can follow him at Mark Henry Jr. _ Coming up next, Sean Brace talked with Sean Bernard. They're Sixers tonight. So obviously, who are you going to talk Sixers with? Sean Bernard. So how does Sean Bernard feel about game number 6? Are the Sixers going to be moving on? Get all of his thoughts coming up next here on the Daily Ticket.
Fox Sports Radio, The Gambler, now.